Welcome back to Charles Schwab Field. Troy Claunch is no stranger to the College World Series stage. He was here in 2018 with the Oregon State Beavers, won that national championship. But Troy's the first to tell you, hey, I'm a different player now. He also plays for a different team. But regardless, he's brought his championship experience to the Aggies on the big stage.
The Beavers are on top of the college baseball world again.
In 2018, every single day when we broke a team meeting, our message was finish. Once you get here, it's easy to kind of be like, oh, okay, we made it, you know, but making it here is not the goal. The goal is to win it, the goal is to finish. That's what this team has, is we just have a relentless attitude to finish, a relentless commitment towards each other, towards our process. And I think that, you know, we're just going to have to continue to stick to doing that.
In his first season, head coach Schlossnagle brought number 12 to the baseball team. And in his first season, Troy Claunch earned number 12. That's the Aggies' 100-year tradition. The player that's most willing to serve his team. Troy Claunch earned that. He told me, man, it's special, Mike.
And he is a special player and a special leader for Texas A&M, and already a national champion in his career. So, set to go. Ben told you about this A&M offense. Let's get you the lineup, brought to you by Capital One for Jim Schlossnagle. Trevor Werner's at the top. He had one of the best ABs of this NCAA tournament, particularly the College World Series. And then right behind him, Berkey, Jack Moss.
Yeah, Jack Moss has been the guy in the NCAA tournament. You see there at the bottom, a .457 average, but just 2 for 10 here in Omaha, right? So it came in red hot. Hoping he gets it going, and then Dylan Rock, the guy right behind him. He has been fantastic all year. Hoping to get the long ball back in his game here, and the conditions are better today.
Yeah, and the Aggies will face junior right-hander, 6'4", 220-pound Liam Simon. Simon making his 3rd NCAA tournament appearance so far. Came out of relief in the regional, got a start in the super regional against Tennessee. Only went 1 2/3, but it is a big arm. I mean, it's a fastball that's going to tick into the mid and sometimes even above that mid-90s. The slider is the difference maker for him. 33 of his 51 strikeouts have come on that slider.
97 out of the chute, and off we go in this elimination game. Trevor Werner atop the A&M lineup that put up 10 runs on Sunday against Texas to stay alive following a loss Friday 13-8 to Oklahoma.
Something to keep an eye on from Simon. 28 2/3 on the year, 25 walks for him. This stuff is really good. The question is, can he keep it in the strike zone?
That's the first slider. It's a fastball that, as you said, has big velocity to it, and the slider just has not been hit very much this year.
I mean, that's difficult. That's a tough combination. Like, you got to gear up to go get mid and sometimes upper 90s. It's tough. Even if the breaking ball is pretty average, it's tough.
So we're seeing it early, a couple pitches sprayed by him against the Texas A&M lineup that is so patient. How do you think a guy like this with the control problems fares against that lineup?
You know, for me, knowing that he's had some control issues, I would have my catcher just stay right in the middle part of the plate and have him just shoot for the middle part, because more times than not, the ball's not going to end up there. You know, especially early in this game when I want to get him in the strike zone and force A&M to contact. That's what I want to do.
Tried to tempt Werner with a slider there, and Werner didn't bite. On the 6th pitch, swing and a miss. Dave LaManna, the catcher, completes the K.
How about that now, huh? 3-2, first batter of the game, elimination game, and you break off a nasty slider. So a good start for Liam Simon here.
52 strikeouts now for him this year, and 34 of them have come on the slider. So it brings up Jack Moss, a guy who, as much as anyone on the Texas A&M team, typifies the offensive approach. Sophomore first baseman from Englewood, Colorado. Came here with the average up near 400.
And this is a guy right here where if you do not show him in, he will wear you out. And, you know, not the scariest hitter in this lineup, but easily the most polished.
Yes, and he will use the what makes him special to me is the way he uses the opposite field. I guarantee you have to go back and look, but at least half of his base hits have gone you know, from center field back over towards the shortstop side, because he does a nice job of staying inside the ball.
2 hitters in a row, 0-2 counts. Heater. Like, I wouldn't mess around. I go right back to the heater. I wouldn't even nibble. That's exactly what this A&M team wants you to do. Right there.
Yes. Another fastball, 97, and a punch out for Liam Simon again.
That's what you want to see him do. Attack with elite stuff. Put A&M on the defense right away. And they're not as scared to hit with 2 strikes. They've done it all year long. But I'm like you, Berkey. I mean, why waste pitches off a team like this? This is what they want you to do. They get you to 0-2. You turn around, it's back 3-2 like the very first batter of the game. Attack, attack.
Not to make too much out of 2 batters, but Ben, you always talk about the first inning for pitchers. You can't ask for anything more than what we've seen so far.
No, I think he's pretty well locked in right now. Now, he's going to scatter it from time to time. That's what he does.
Well, now he faces Dylan Rock, the grad student left fielder and 3-hitter, an All-American for Texas A&M. Came here with an OPS better than 1,100, and Berkey, he is a key guy to get going for the Aggies.
Yeah, man, they just need to get him going, right? Just the 1 home run in the postseason, albeit a huge one in the regional final, but yet to get a base hit here in Omaha. And I don't care what team it is, right? If your 3-hole hitter's scuffling, your lineup doesn't have the same kind of swagger.
Jim Schlossnagle said Sunday he feels like Rock is taking better swings, and as he and others like to say, they call it an average for a reason. Water will find its level. They feel like he is due. Simon's 1-1 to Rock.
That's big time stuff right there. That is big time. Fastball up to 98, and that slider is right on the outside part of the plate behind it.
Shake. Where are we going here?
1-2.
Yeah, right back to it.
He's feeling that heater right now. He is feeling it.
Shook to the heat like I'm throwing 97 up in the zone. There ain't no reason to nibble, even though the breaking ball has been razor sharp too. And this is a guy maybe wasn't great last weekend in Knoxville, but you look at that start in the conference tournament against Virginia. 5 innings, 8 punch-outs. Like it's loud stuff.
And it's pretty much just a 2-pitch mix. I mean, it's heavy on the fastball about 71% of the time, slider 26% of the time.
It is 1-2 again to Rock. Struck out the side.
Come on now, big fella. That's how you want to get it started. How about that? Liam Simon goes out and punches out the Aggies. 1, 2, 3, an elite fastball and an outstanding breaking ball to get Notre Dame off the field here in the first.
Everyone thought Notre Dame would be awarded a national seed. They weren't, and responded by knocking the best team in the country squarely off of Rocky Top. Now the Irish are back in Omaha for the first time in 2 decades and sporting a very large golden chip on their shoulders.
Then they came here. They got a win Friday over Texas, 7-3. Then a loss on Sunday to Oklahoma, 6-2. And as we introduce you to their batting order brought to you by Capital One, it looks a lot different for 3rd-year head coach Link Jarrett, who has juggled where different pieces are. Carter Putz in that loss on Sunday had 4 hits, 3 of them infield singles.
Yeah, maybe not the biggest laser show, but boy, against a nasty Cade Horton, he was the most competitive guy. Always nice. We talk about Rock struggling for Texas A&M. Putz has been on fire here for the Irish. They need to get this leadoff hitter Ryan Cole going, right? Been a little slow here in the College World Series. And a struggling pitcher in Dettmer, right? This first inning is going to be big, Ben.
Yeah, Dettmer has been really good for most of the year. 12 of his 18 starts, 3 earned runs or less. But lately, it has not been good. In his first College World Series start on Friday, now he's had 3 days off. 1 2/3. He gave up 7 earned runs on 44 pitches to Oklahoma. So he needs a good inning to get the confidence going.
He is in some ways similar to Liam Simon in that he's got big-time stuff, and they just want to harness it. And at times this year in SEC action, this guy's been electric.
No, when he gets ahead and he puts hitters on defense right away, his stuff plays good. It's a good slider. which is probably his best pitch. The changeup is pretty good as well. Now, the fastball, he'll throw it about 60% of the time, but when he's ahead and attacking and using all 3 of his pitches, he can throw some zeros on the scoreboard.
Sophomore from San Antonio with a 1-1 to Cole that is grounded off the glove of Trevor Werner, and that is a continuing problem for Texas A&M.
Man, defense has been a problem, right? 15 errors in the postseason, and Jim Schlossnagle knows it. It has been a concern, and really where it doesn't match up, Ben, is you got a sinker baller, right? And like, man, you want to have a lockdown defense when you got a sinker ball on the mound. Trevor Werner makes the #1 thing you can't do at third base is let a ball get below you. It's okay if it bounces off of you or goes above you, but that one sneaks right below the webbing.
Jim Schlossnagle has talked about it this week. He said, we're the worst defensive team here. We cannot keep giving up free outs and free bases. We'll see how aggressive Notre Dame gets offensively. They like to apply pressure, and they moved up this guy from the 9-hole. Spencer Myers drops it down. Werner makes the play. Cole to second.
And that is every bit as much about making Texas A&M play catch as it is maybe the scheme of bunting a guy to second base in the first, right? I mean, obviously you get that job done on a beautifully executed sac bunt, but really you want to just keep putting the pressure on this Aggie defense and making them prove to you that they're ready to play catch. What's the conversation going on here?
That's Link Jarrett, the head coach, and the guy who just bunted Spencer Myers on his way back. Huh.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
All right, now the umpiring crew is going to come together.
Yeah, it was flat. It was black away. Yeah. Yeah.
This looks like the conversation here is about his back foot. Watch Myers' back foot. He is all the way out of the batter's box, right? But oh yeah. I think Troy Claunch, maybe, was it Troy Claunch that made that call? Like who? But the runner still gets to advance. So we're back to where we started.
All right, now Link Jarrett will come out. And now the umpires will come together again. So do they want some sort of obstruction here? I mean, obstruction is when the defense is at fault against the runner.
Notre Dame is challenging the call of out at first base. The previous play is under review.
Well, you get 2 challenges per game as a coach, and you just heard that Link Jarrett and Notre Dame are challenging at least some aspect of out at first. Obstruction there that he doesn't have a path to the bag.
Oh, I see Moth. They're saying Moth is, I don't know, he's moving out of the way as he's catching. That is, we got some weird stuff going on here. You got Myers was out of the box when he bunted it. And now he's upset that Moss was in the baseline as he's fielding it, which he was initially, making his move away from the base, right, as he's catching it. What you got there? Is that obstructing Myers? I mean, Myers ends up hitting the base, right?
So the batter can't be out of the batter's box when he makes contact, right?
No, he's out.
So could Slosh come in and challenge this, say, and he's out, and would the runner get second on that, or would he have to go back to first base?
That's why I was confused in the first place, because I'm sitting there thinking, well, why would Link challenge that? But he's talking about the play at first.
But now on the replay, you could see something else.
The call of out at first base is confirmed. Notre Dame has exhausted one of its 2 challenges for the game.
Jack Moss is entitled to space to play a ball coming his way.
Yeah, it's interesting that they would challenge that. I guess they were, but especially when he touched the base. It wasn't like Spencer Myers didn't touch the base.
Right.
Jack Moss obviously was clearing a path as he was catching the ball. You don't see that one every day.
Yeah, odd. Carter Potts goes first pitch swinging right at Trevor Werner. He's been busy. He's accurate. And there's 2 away, and Ryan Cole holds at second. So this has been an eventful first 5 pitches in the bottom of the first, fellas.
It's obviously 2 very different styles. Notre Dame is going up there, and they are putting the ball in play almost immediately because they know Dettmer's a strike throwing machine, right? You got A&M that is the most patient team in college baseball. And what do we got? 5 pitches, 3 balls put in play.
And I think for Notre Dame, that's got to be the message, right? Create pressure any way you can and try to force this A&M defense. It has not been great this year. And there may be some unforced errors.
There were 2 outs on those last 2 pitches. And now Dave LaManna, the catcher for Notre Dame. 5th-year senior who climbs up into the cleanup spot here today. On Sunday, he hit a 2-run home run in the 6th inning that got Notre Dame on the board in that loss to Oklahoma. Good breaking ball from Dettmer.
And that's the one Dettmer, in my opinion, he has to get going, is that breaking ball. The sliders, the changeup can be good for him, and he'll use it mostly against the left-handers, but that breaking ball against the righties to go along with that low 90s fastball is going to be key.
He's trying to leave Cole at second. Outside. We talked with the Texas A&M coaching staff after that short start from Dettmer on Friday, and they felt like he was going to deal because they said his bullpens had been that impressive. Pitching coach Nate Yeskie said in the bullpen leading up to that start, he was electric. His breaking ball is just outside to LaManna.
Well, he's got really good command of that breaking ball right now because I'm watching Troy Claunch, the catcher for A&M. I'm watching where he's setting up and where the ball is going. Dettmer likes to sink it. That's probably his best pitch, is that sinking fastball, but he will throw the 4-seamer, the cross-seamer occasionally.
His 2-2 in the air to center field, right at Jordan Thompson. And both starting pitchers look good early on in this first inning of an elimination game here in Omaha. The NCAA College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? All roads in college baseball lead to Omaha, Nebraska. We started with 8 teams. We are down to 6 still here for the chance to win the national championship that begins coming up this weekend with that best-of-3 final. All right, so guys, looks pretty good for both starting pitchers so far.
Yeah, simple Simon for me, right? Keep it simple for him. Let him take his elite stuff and just fill up the strike zone and attack for Texas A&M. That's what he did in the first inning.
He had 14 pitches and striking out the side in that top of the first. Now gets Austin Bose, the cleanup man and DH for the Aggies, to begin the second.
It's something to watch here. We know the Aggies really don't like to offer at the first pitch. So far, all first pitch fastballs and all strikes. Good way to get going if you're Liam Simon.
4 for 4.
Ball, it's out.
Didn't get ahead, 0-2 here like he did in the top of the first. Yeah, this season, Texas A&M is averaging 4.14 pitches per plate appearance. That's the most in the country. They average nearly 5 pitches per plate appearance on Sunday against Texas. They fouled off 45 pitches in that game. It was crazy.
A lineup like this is a pitcher's nightmare because if you don't have a killer pitch or a finishing pitch, that's what you'll see a lot. 0-2, 1-2 counts, and you'll turn around and it's a couple foul balls, and it's back to 3-2, and all of a sudden you've thrown 8 or 9 pitches, 10 pitches to every batter.
Pulled to left and struck well back to the corner, and that one hops off the wall. Austin Bose speeds to second with a leadoff double.
So we have not seen anybody really get close to the heater yet, right? The fastball last pitch was 97 miles an hour. So here's the 1-1, just gas, right by him. And then on 1-2, they go to the breaking ball, and that sucker is just spinning, and it's a bullet in the left field corner. And I just feel like maybe they overthought it right there. Granted, it's a hanger, right? If you bounce it, maybe you get a take.
It's the
a swing and a miss.
It's the first bad breaking ball he's thrown. Unfortunately, it cost him a leadoff double.
Here's Ryan Targach, switch hitting second baseman out of the 5 spot. So, Berkey, would you just lean fastball until they prove they can hit it?
Non-damage situation. Nobody has barreled up the heater yet. Like, I don't know. I just think what'd you just say, Ben? Simple, Simon? Like,
keep it simple.
Let's keep it simple. Grab that 4-seamer and keep ripping it in there.
1-0 to Targach, and it's 2-0.
And doesn't look the same, right, out of the stretch versus the windup. And a lot of pitchers are like that. When you get in that windup, you get that rhythm going. Now he's slide stepping a little bit.
Facing the sophomore second baseman who has had a monster breakout season in year 1 as a starter for the Aggies. 3-0.
This is the book on Simon, right? It kind of can come and go. Mechanics, as you said, are a little fragile, and you know, in one breath he looks like a first-round pick, and then in the next breath it's 3 misfires.
And I think that was the key for A&M, right? Try to get him in the stretch, because if you look at the numbers in the stretch versus the numbers in the windup, not nearly the command for Simon in the stretch versus the windup.
Now you talk about draft potential for a guy like this. Our ESPN insider Kylie McDaniel says that he is Notre Dame's best pro prospect regardless of class.
Well, you see the stuff already when we've seen the fastball up to 98. Now, he's a little bit of a project, right? Because he's got to be able to duplicate his mechanics a little bit more. But when you look at pure stuff, you can dream on him a little bit,
there
right?
ain't no doubt. That's a project worth taking on right there.
I saw who's starting to get up in the bullpen, too, behind him. Jack Finley, their stud reliever, the true freshman, who has been lights out the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, if you like 12 2/3 1 run, if you think that's pretty good. I mean, you talk about a freshman grabbing the ball and pretty much carrying the pitching staff to Omaha. Jack Finley has been that guy.
And that's a decision for Link Jarrett, right? When do you go? Elimination game, when do you go to your dude in the bullpen?
After the visit from pitching coach Chuck Restano, it's another ball. So that is a 4-pitch walk after the double, and the first 2 on for A&M here in the second.
And the fascinating thing about elimination baseball is he doesn't get a leash, right? You like in the regular season with the stuff he's shown, you'd leave him out there for sure. But here you just you got to start wondering how long they let him go before Finley gets the ball.
Aggie land in Omaha, making its presence felt. Here's Troy Claunch, the catcher who Danny told you about. Fastball doesn't miss by much, but ball 1 and 5 straight out of the zone from Liam Simon.
Here come the Aggie faithful.
Six straight. Pitch. There's a strike at 97. Ben, how would you handle that when you would have a crowd chanting at you? Would you hear it?
Oh, yeah, you hear it. You try to block it out as much as you can, but you do hear it. You know, and I think that's when you got to step off the back of the mound and try to slow the game down a little bit. I used to step off the back of the mound and call time, and I wouldn't tie my shoe on purpose and bend down and retie my shoe and think about, okay, what do I need to do mechanically to get back where I need to be? And as I watch Simon, I can almost see what some of his problems are. And it's the same problem that most pitchers face. He gets a little east and west with his front shoulder. In other words, your front side is your steering wheel. And as you go down the slope, you want to keep your chin, your front elbow, and your glove in that target as long as you can. He starts to spin, if you'll watch it. When he opens up a little bit too quick, he does one of two things. He'll either drag it across the plate, or if he flies too quick, he's going to leave it to the arm side. So for him, the message has got to be keep your front side in that glove as long as you drive down the slope. Try to keep it there just a snap of the fingers longer.
Another breaking ball.
Again, you got a 2-1 fastball swing where he was noticeably late.
You see how quick that front side leaves? You see how quick it goes?
He's going in the direction of the first base dugout.
Right.
Should be.
You can't go east to west. It's got to be north to south. It's got to be down the slope, front side in the glove.
Claunch fouls off a fastball that time.
And you hope as a pitcher that you get to mechanically where you can feel those things yourself and you can drop off the back of the mound and say, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to get the balance point and I need to drive my front side in the glove. That's where you hope you get. But you're talking about a young man that doesn't have a lot of college experience. I mean, look, only 60 innings pitched in his 3 years. And so in a lot of ways, it's still very new for Simon.
And this is a vintage A&M AB. 3-2 to Claunch. That is fouled off again. Jim Schlossnagle joked with Danny in the dugout the other day, I hope you get paid by the hour.
A&M doesn't have many short games, that's for sure. We've seen that during the regular season. We've seen it in the postseason. And, of course, we've seen it here in Omaha as well.
Claunch has been clutch in the postseason. Waiting on the 8th pitch from Simon. Strike 3 called. Wow. Troy Claunch does not like it at all.
When he had some words for Scott Klein, of course, they will have this conversation moving forward. He is not happy about it all. First glance for me, I certainly thought the ball was off the outside edge.
You know, every umpire is a little bit different. Scott Klein is known for what I call a typical strike zone in college ball, which is about a ball off, a ball up, a ball down.
Look where this pitch is. I mean, it is on the white and a 3-2 count with 2 guys on. That is really tough to handle if you're Troy Claunch.
Because this is an A&M team that has an unbelievable understanding of the strike zone.
Uh-oh, got him.
Runner goes, they throw to third, and they tag out Boast back to first, and they nearly got Targac too. He takes off for second and is in safely. So Liam Simon handled himself well. Boast runs into an out for the second out of the inning, and boy, that almost ended the inning.
Well, remember, we talked to Link Jarrett before the game, and he said, when it comes to Liam Simon, he can handle the running game, and he does right there. I don't know if that call came from the bench, but an inside move to second base. Watch this. Drops his head. He looks towards home plate. A little inside move step, and I got you.
But Boast had no idea. So Boast had crossed over like he literally had no idea that Simon didn't throw the ball home. He thought he had him so far, and I hate to say I've never done that because I have. He thought he had him perfect. And you talk about a great call, Ben, from the dugout, I'm guessing, because they obviously realized that Boast had him timed up, and we're not going to let him take that free base after getting the first out. Ooh, they got a chance to post a 0 here.
I think this is going to be a huge momentum turn here if Simon can get off the field. Right? 3-2 count, 2 on. You throw a pitch that's marginal strike, you get the call, then an inside move nets you a pickoff to get the 2 out.
And now it's 0-2 on Brett Minnick, 7-hitter and right fielder. Are you okay with the risk from the A&M side of things in that situation, given Simon's wildness this inning?
Well, as it turned out, obviously no. You know, they thought they had it 100% pegged, and they were going to each take an extra 90 on him.
Man at second, 2 outs, scoreless in the second. 0-2. Inside to Minnick.
I like the risk. Look, getting picked off is the price of doing business. Now, it looks bad when it doesn't go your way. This is a dude who doesn't give up a lot of hits. You get a chance to move to third base with less than 2 outs, and now we can put a run on the board without the need of a base hit. If you think you got it, I like the risk. Early in the ball game, right, you're trying to be aggressive, but when it doesn't work out, it never looks good.
Slider strikes out Minnick, and Liam Simon is fired up. So are the Irish.
Simple Simon, right? Fielded his position. A really good inside move right there. And look, we're going to look back on this second inning. We'll see how it turns out. But this right here is a difference maker. And so is that slider right there. Liam Simon posts another 0, and he is fired up.
For more coverage of the Men's College World Series and interactive brackets, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 championships. No score, but that does not mean that it has not been eventful so far in the first inning and a half of this elimination game in Omaha, Nebraska. As we go to the bottom of the second, Notre Dame bats against Nathan Dettmer, who gets a fly ball to left from Jack Brannigan. And Dylan Rock's there for the first out. 11 pitches for 4 outs for Nathan Dettmer.
They are swinging. And it's interesting, too. I mean, again, he's a strike thrower, but, like, he just threw a couple days ago. Right, and it didn't go particularly great. You'd think maybe the approach would have been, let's see what he's got. Let's let him work early. Like,
yeah, because if you look at his outing a couple days ago, he walked 3 in just an inning and 2/3. Typically a control guy. He didn't have it the other day, and Oklahoma made him pay for it. But they've been aggressive. But Dettmer looks like a different dude to me for whatever reason here this game. I mean, the body language is a little bit different than it was from the very first pitch, and he has been attacking the strike zone with that sinking fastball, a slider, and just 1 or 2 changeups so far. There's your changeup. So he's starting to get all 3 of them going now.
It's interesting you say body language as he gets ahead of Jack Ziska, the Notre Dame DH, 0-2.
When you see a pitcher hesitating over the rubber and constantly working the rosin bag, well, he's not quite sure about what he's doing.
Yeah.
When you see him grab the ball hot right back on the rubber, he's pretty confident where he's at and what his stuff is today.
Ball.
Micah Dallas was really good for Texas A&M Sunday against Texas, and Jim Schlossnagle said that he has his swagger back, and Dallas has since the SEC tournament, and he said he wants to see Nathan Dettmer watching that and have a power demeanor the way Micah Dallas did, even if Dallas didn't have power stuff.
I mean, you go back and look at Dettmer early in the year. I mean, you go 12 of 18 starts, 3 earned runs or less. He was strong early. But for whatever reason, his last 7 starts have not been the same. Matter of fact, his last 7 starts, 24 and 2/3 inning of work. He's given up 30 earned runs in 24 and 2/3.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Jack Ziska, who bounces one foul at third.
well, talking to Schloss today, I think there's a line of thinking with sinker ballers that sometimes they're better when they're a little tired. And you never know. And again, it's been a rough stretch in general, right? It wasn't like his last start was his only rough one here down the stretch. But maybe pitching just a few days ago knocks the edge off a little bit. And so far, granted, we just had a fly ball, but how many balls have we seen beaten in the ground towards third base?
Ball.
The 2-seamer definitely looks like it has the depth that he's looking for. The command has been good. And Schloss also said, if we're going to win this thing, we need 2 more starts out of Dettmer. So might as well start him early. And then if we're able to make it to the finals, he's fully rested for his next one. I thought that was an interesting line of thinking as well.
3-2. And Ziska strikes out. First K for Nathan Dettmer, and there's 2 gone in the second.
Yeah, both of our pitchers pitching backwards. The ability to throw something other than a fastball in a fastball count. 3-2, you think you're going to get the fastball, but instead he just bends this one right off the outside part of the plate. A really good slider by Dettmer.
So now he faces Jarrett Miller. We're going to do a live look-in on the UmpCam feed, an alternate broadcast available on the ESPN app. It's the same as the regular broadcast, but you get every pitch from the unique UmpCam, and then we'll flip around as well. Jarrett Miller, the 5th-year senior second baseman from Marietta, Georgia. 2-time captain who had a home run in the first game that Notre Dame played here in Omaha against Texas.
And I'm going to say I like this matchup for Miller. Sinker baller with a low to high bat path for Miller. To me, this is a matchup that works much better for him than maybe last game against Cade Horton, somebody that maybe elevates the ball a little more consistently. It's kind of a swing that feels like it runs right into the path of the sinker.
Two and two. Boy, Cade Horton was so good for Oklahoma.
Yeah, that was some first-round stuff the other night.
2-2. Swing and a miss. How good does Nathan Dettmer look early on? He has 2 zeros up and back-to-back Ks to close off a 1-2-3 second inning.
Lip sweater, face lace, bro meringue. Master your mustache terminology, because in this series, long balls and web jams have taken a back seat to face foliage, crumb catchers, and grass grins. Even if some of these guys could use a little miracle grow.
What do you got on that, Ben McDonald?
That's
what do you
cool.
think?
I mean, I wish I could grow one. No chance.
Never?
Never. They're like it's got a fungus, like it's very, very patchy. Berkey, can you grow one?
Yeah, I could grow one.
You need to grow one this offseason.
Never
Send me a
featured
picture.
I never featured it. Actually, one night I had a goatee and I shaved, the bottom part and rolled with it to dinner, and I couldn't take myself seriously. I just couldn't handle it.
That's pretty good growth. Yeah, we've seen a lot of variety here in Omaha from the 8 teams that arrived here, and if you haven't been following this Notre Dame team, they all have mustaches because of the movie Top Gun Maverick. They went to see it before the NCAA tournament started. A couple of relievers showed up the next day with mustaches, and it was on from there. Even though their head coach, Link Jarrett, does have some sort of facial hair policy, so the players didn't know how it was going to be received, but all systems go. And then when you start winning, it's too late to change anything. This is Jordan Thompson leading off for Texas A&M, and he works a leadoff walk. That's Jarrett, one of our cameramen, up close and personal.
He's got like full beard, maybe a little heavier mustache, but that does look like solid growth. Well done.
So Thompson is on. Boy, has he been good in the postseason, like you said earlier, Berkey. And now Cole Kaler, the 9-man, comes up. Kaler, the grad student shortstop from Queen Creek, Arizona, outside of Phoenix. One of the transfers that Ben was talking about earlier that Jim Schlossnagle brought in his first year at the helm of Texas A&M. And boy, have they had a big-time season, especially as the year went along. Five straight out of the zone from Simon. And now a strike.
So Jim Schlossnagle said that Cole Kaler's a guy that we don't talk enough about. When Kalai Harrison was the starting shortstop every day last year, they lost him, and Coach Schloss said that we're lucky to have Cole. He was playing second base, but he was everyday shortstop at Hawaii, so we're lucky to have him. If Cole wasn't here, we'd be in a lot of trouble. He's the calm to the storm when Kalai got hurt.
Yeah, that is valuable to be able to move him over. Wow, so Liam Simon called for a balk, and that'll move up Jordan Thompson.
Yeah, the front foot's got to gain some ground, right, Ben? I mean, this was if you watch him, it was like, let's see what Scott Klein has to say here to link Jarrett, but I think that's the call.
Yeah, his feet,
he's telling me.
He tried the old jump move, but he never got his feet squared around.
The left foot has to make some sort of move towards the base, and you watch this here. Look, left foot, watch this left foot. So he just jumps. You can tell his left foot's still almost pointed at home. Scott Klein's all over that one. It's the old hop move. That's a ball. Man, he's all over that call, wasn't he?
Quick.
Talking about being locked in.
Hey, Scotty.
Nice. Well done. I am, as a former base runner, I'm pro balk calls. Call more of them. Come on. Quit letting these dudes get away with this stuff.
Ben, care to comment?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do. I mean, that's why you practice them, right? You practice all your pickoff moves and try to be good at one. And every now and then you'll get the balk call. Hard to get away with it with a 4-man crew.
Kaler pops this one up onto the fringe of the outfield grass, and now drifting out, and it drops down around Miller. Thompson to third, Kaler to second, and he's safe. The wind is blowing differently today than it has the first 4 days here in Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, the wind's blowing out, what, 5 to 10, but like this is one where I know the second baseman Miller's calling for it, but this is a ball where Myers has just got to take control. So Myers right out there in center field. Okay, here's Miller way over there. Now watch where Miller ends up, and Myers he gives way. Look at Myers just lets it go, and this ball is in the air forever. And this is one of those where when you got a veteran center fielder, I mean, look, he's almost next to the ball bin when it falls. Like, I get that you trust your second baseman to catch a pop-up, but you got to hunt the ball as a center fielder. That is an extremely difficult play for a second baseman going into shallow center field.
And what's different about, difficult for Link Jarrett is, I mean, this is a team that probably their best asset is their defense, and they had some unearned runs in their last game, but you look at what they've done, they're still fielding over 980 as a team. It's a top 10 defense in the entire country, but Notre Dame has not played great defense the last couple of games.
Are we calling that a single?
Yes.
And advancing on the throw.
Exactly.
Now, so think about the anatomy of this inning. Walk, balk, pop up to center field, and you got second and third with nobody out.
And the leadoff man, Trevor Werner. Pops one foul. Simon gets ahead 0-2.
Now, Ben, that one going down as a base hit has to make your skin crawl a little bit.
That hurts. That hurts.
It's not Miller's fault. I mean, but what are you going to call it? You can't really call it an error on him. Heck, he's out there in right center field.
Spencer Myers is a fifth-year senior who has played a lot of baseball through the years for Notre Dame. 0-2 to Werner. Up high, 1-2. Notre Dame had a costly error as well on a bunt the other day against Oklahoma. Werner had the big swing the other day against Texas. He takes high, 2-2. We told you he had one of the great at-bats we have seen here in a 4-run second inning Sunday, an 11-pitch AB before a 2-run single from Trevor Werner. Two. Outside, full count again for Werner.
I don't know why so dependent on the breaking ball. Have we seen a barreled up heater yet? Has anybody squared up the four-seamer yet, Ben?
No, and the only thing I can come to is 34 of his strikeouts. Out of the 52 strikeouts, he's got them on the slider that he has, and opponents only got 2 base hits on that slider, and I don't know if that's the reason why they keep going to it, because it's been so good for him all year long. But for me, the fastball is elite, especially when he can work it to the top part of the strike zone.
So this is where it gets interesting now. 2 walks in the inning. Simon not helped by the balk and the misplay by Notre Dame defensively. But how much urgency do you need here in this elimination game?
It's where you go straight to Jack Finley. I mean, it just is what it is. You've made a mess, and now you need your guy that's been the one getting you out of messes all postseason to come in and do what he's been doing. This sets up to be a fascinating matchup here with Jack Moss versus Jack Finley.
The freshman comes on for Notre Dame. Jack Finley to face, indeed, Jack Moss, one of the best hitters here in Omaha in a left-on-left matchup. Bases loaded, nobody out, 3rd inning. No score just yet. Welcome back to the NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. Just a huge AB coming up. Jack Moss will bat against Jack Finley, the Notre Dame stud freshman who has taken his game to a new level around the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, I mean, you look in the postseason. Postseason numbers are .71 ERA in 5 appearances, 12 2/3, only allowed 3 hits, 4 walks, and punched out 14. The opponent's batting average is .077 against Finley in the postseason.
Takes over for Liam Simon. First pitch to Jack Moss is strike one to the A&M two-hitter who struck out his first time against Simon. Jack Finley uses his fastball a ton, and he's throwing it about 1.5 miles harder in the postseason.
And that's where you got to stay, right? Finley's got that induced vertical break on the heater. It plays up above the belt. We've already seen Moss strike out on a fastball above the hitting zone. You get the ball down the way. That's right into what Jack Moss wants to do. Maybe you waste a breaking ball here, but I think you got to put him away above the belt.
With the bases loaded, nobody out. Up high again. Yeah, that type of spot in this game, and the Aggies trying to break through first. One-two to Moss, and he strikes out swinging.
That almost looked like it had a little cut
slider,
to it at the end.
Yeah.
Just kind of got around. I don't know if he did that on purpose. He just kind of got around it just a tick, and it almost has a little bit of a cut to it.
Man, you want to talk about a freshman that just sticks his chest out, Ben. How about come into the bullpen with the bases loaded, heater up, another one, and then we're going to bend a little slider off the edge. The ability to grab the ball, walk into a moment like this, control your heartbeat, and execute against really, really talented hitters. It blows me away from a freshman, and he's been doing it the entire postseason.
You saw he's been doing it in jams too, and he gets Dylan Rock to ground one fair to third. Brannigan goes to first. Putz can't dig it. Thompson and Kaler score, and they will stop Werner at third. The Aggies have the first two this afternoon.
Man, we talked about it off the top. If Notre Dame's going to win, get your Pringle. Get your Pringle, Mr. Kaler. They have some fun, don't they? The bubbles, the Pringles. But if Notre Dame's going to win these games, it's all about pitching and defense. And, man, the pitching has been fine, but the defense has let them down. Jack Brannigan looks home and then decides to go to cross the diamond. That's just a really, really tough hop for Carter Putz over at first base. The old in-betweener, and this one shoots off his heel, and two-run score on a chopper to third base.
And now you got second and third and still just one out.
Third mistake for Notre Dame this inning, and now Austin Bose, who doubled back in the second inning leading off the frame. Cleanup hitter who's had a good College World Series. You see now 4 for 10. The home run plus 3 doubles for the fourth-year junior from Groves, Texas, over near Beaumont. Knee-high strike.
You know, Brannigan's thinking about a few things there. He could have stepped on third. He could have gone home.
I thought he was going to go home. When he looked home, I don't know if he thought the runner was in his path.
Nothing worse than taking the safe play and then that one not working out, right? Even though I think the safest play would just go and step on third base, right? I mean, you step on third base. Oh, yeah, you give up a run, but it's first and second.
2 outs.
We got force outs everywhere, right? As soon as you go across the diamond, number one, it's a much more difficult throw. And number two, you've lost the ability for the force out to the next hitter.
2-1. That's a strike. 2-2. Boy, you throw a fastball there.
Might as well go back to it, right? You're going to get that one.
Two. Up high, check swing, no swing, according to Grady Smith. So a full count on Austin Bose.
Mana's trying to decoy his positioning pre-pitch. He faked like he was going in and then went away there. He's a little worried that Dylan Rock's maybe tipping location out there at second base.
3-2.
Ball 4.
Ball 4. Third walk of the inning from Notre Dame pitching, and the Aggies have them loaded.
we get the backhand right here. Brannigan, okay, look at his options. He could go up the line over Jordan Thompson's head home, or he could just race and try to get the force at third. Instead, he goes, man, this is a long throw across the diamond and just yanks it. Throws a little sinker over first base. And of the three options, that one I think was the toughest play.
One.
And certainly the one that didn't work out.
So now it sets up bases loaded, 1 out, 2 already in for Texas A&M, and they're trying to add on with Ryan Targach out of the 5 spot, the second baseman. This guy was a monster in SEC regular season action for the Aggies. 0-1.
Ball is out.
Down and away. Finley, it seems, trying to stay away from righties with everything he's throwing.
And I'll be honest, today's a little tougher day to pitch in this ballpark. Like, the home run is for real in play today, right? And so, again, you don't want to be making pitches, think about the homer, but the margin for error is less.
1-2.
And it is pretty much all heaters, too.
Finley in the regular season threw 71% fastballs. He is at 83% fastball usage in the NCAA tournament. 1-2. Up and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Targach.
It's a fine line, that elevated fastball. It's really tempting for hitters to swing at. But it's a fine line between an easy take and one where you'll get that swing and a miss. And right now, Finley just hasn't been able to throw that one that's just above the belly button and get some of those swings from these righties.
Full count.
You know what I'm saying, Ben? Those are like easier takes, right?
It's a ball out of the hand.
Yes,
I mean,
that's right.
those are a ball out of the hand, and that's not an easy, tough decision for a hitter to lay off of that one.
Nowhere to put Ryan Targach here in the third. Finley's 3-2 is popped up. LaManna doesn't see it. And into right, it's Coetzee, lines it up. His throw is cut. A run scores. They've got the runners hung up. Putz heads to first. They throw to third, and they get a tag there on Dylan Rock. So the Aggies get the sac fly to make it 3-0, but no more. The Aggies in this elimination game have the lead on Notre Dame here in Omaha. Texas A&M added a run, but Austin Bose was the runner at first, and this conversation with his head coach, Jim Schlossnagle.
Well, we're talking about the details of the play, right? Austin Bose is saying, man, I thought the throw was high enough. For sure Dylan Rock's going to tag, right? But the problem is he didn't, and even if you think he should, if he doesn't, you can't go, right? So if you see Dylan Rock's kind of hanging, then Austin Bose hangs, he goes back, he thinks Rock's going to go.
And it is a high throw right there.
It's a high throw, but it hangs up, right? And Rock puts on the brakes, and Bose never rechecks him. And next thing you know, you're dead.
Because Bose was sure that Rock was tagging up. And when Bose took off, he would have made it to second base. Like, he was there.
For sure.
So it was a good read on his part. He just didn't realize the runner in front of him didn't move up.
It's not your job to do the guy on second's job. Right. It's your job to follow the guy on second. If he doesn't go, whether you think he should have or didn't, you obviously can't go. It becomes a problem. And I think Bose is trying to argue why he thinks Rock should have gone. And I think Sauce is saying that's not really the point. The point is he didn't go. And I need you to play with your eyes up, right?
Well, and these are the moments you probably don't want to be the DH, right?
Yeah, because you got to sit in the dugout the whole time. You can't escape out in the outfield somewhere.
Well, the Aggies lead by 3, bottom of the third. Nathan Dettmer has looked good. He's facing 8, 9, and 1, and just all things considered, that is as sloppy a half inning as you could have.
From a Notre Dame team that's been really good this year on defense. I mean, you talk to people that have seen them play all year long, you say, okay, what's their biggest asset? And most people would tell you it starts with the defense, and the pitching has been really good and enough offense.
Zach Preisner bounces it to Trevor Werner, and there is one away.
Well, I mean, let's think about the anatomy of a rally. A walk, right? A balk, a pop-up to right center field that falls on the grass. Okay, another walk. You get a big punch out. You get an air. I mean, so if you think about if you're Link Jarrett right now, you're sitting in the dugout going, what did we give up? I mean, you gave up nothing. I mean, the one hit was a pop-up to right center field. So you just gave up 3 runs and really didn't give up a hit. Now, that's nobody's winning formula, but it's certainly not Notre Dame's winning formula because they're not built to really outslug you, even though they've had some great moments this postseason. And so to give up a 3-spot against an offense like the Aggies where they really didn't slug, that has to be frustrating.
I'll tell you what is a winning formula right now is Dettmer's sinking fastball. And he's landing the slider whenever he wants to, and he's keeping the ball down. The ball's getting pounded in the ground right now.
He's ahead 0-2 on Notre Dame's 9-hole hitter and senior right fielder Brooks Coetzee. And Dettmer deals. If you haven't followed Texas A&M all season, the hinge point for them is the length of their starting pitching. When they get good length out of their starters, primarily Micah Dallas and Nathan Dettmer, they can be really tough to beat.
Well, yeah, because they can match up with you now in that bullpen, right? And, you know, Schloss said today, man, if I could get 15 outs, I would be over the moon. Like, if Nathan Dettmer can give me 15 outs, we can handle the last 12.
The A&M's best guy is Jacob Polish on the back end. Now, he threw 49 pitches, just 2 days ago.
Grounded to first, and Jack Moss takes it himself. And so that is 8 of the 15 outs from Nathan Dettmer.
And pretty low stressor at 32 pitches, right? And the defense, even though where there was an error to start the ball game, like the defense looks to be playing well. And this is what happens when you're throwing a bunch of strikes, right? You usually get better defense.
It's been a totally different Nathan Dettmer so far than what we saw in his previous 7 starts, especially his one 3 days ago against Oklahoma when he had trouble finding the strike zone.
He's faced 9 batters. He's gotten 5 ground balls, a couple of strikeouts, a couple of fly balls, and now a hit batter. With 2 outs, Ryan Cole, the leadoff man for Notre Dame, is on. Dettmer trying to lock it in.
Like he's just lining up a putt.
Yeah. Like McDonald on the 16th. Spencer Myers, 2-hole hitter, center fielder, who had a bunt his first time that caused some conversation. Not reviewable if his foot were to be out of the box, and it appeared that some of his foot was still in the box when he dropped down that bunt.
Like the back edge of the back of his heel wasn't reviewable. If they had called him out, the runner would have to go back, but that wasn't part of the review process. I tell you, we got a pretty good little matchup here. You got 2 outs. You got 2 outs and a base stealer at first base. Dettmer not particularly fast, but Troy Claunch, one of the best throwers in America. Ryan Cole is 22 of 23 at first base. You know, to me, if you're Link Jarrett, I know you're down 3, but it's a good time to try to go with your best base stealer on.
Slash foul.
But if you're Ryan Cole, man, you should know you're up against an elite thrower, and only your best jump makes it, right? And so you kind of want to guess right on a breaking ball too. But if you don't get your best one, you got to shut it down. And even then, you're probably still looking at a bang-bang play.
He doesn't go. On appeal, Myers went around. Dettmer with a strikeout to leave a man in the 3rd. And Nathan Dettmer is locked in through 3. Link Jarrett joins Danny on the other side.
Welcome back to Charles Schwab Field. I'm with Notre Dame head coach Link Jarrett. Coach, uncharacteristic defense from your team, and you had to bring Jack Finley in early. What do you want to see from your guys the rest of this game?
Well, you know, that was just some very uncharacteristic. Pitch execution, we were concerned with Liam, like once we start to see it go sideways a little bit. And then obviously the fly ball to center field, that's a play that we make. We didn't make it. Our center fielder probably should have called Miller off on that. And then the ground ball, we didn't get an out. So to be honest with you, Danny, right now we're lucky it's 3-0. We give them so many free opportunities, and we're lucky that we were able to get out of that 3-0. You know, it didn't feel like we were going to escape, but we did, and now we've got to figure out their starting pitcher's doing a nice job with the sinker and the slider, and now he's using his changeup. So we got our work cut out, but we were fortunate to escape there.
Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny.
Mike.
So he feels fortunate that it's not any worse from the Notre Dame side of things, and then he sums it up pretty much the way you guys both did. And Ben, he's seeing the same in Nathan Dettmer too, the Aggie starter.
Yeah, Dettmer's a totally different dude today, and the sinker has real action to it, unlike his last 6 or 7 starts. Like, it's got some good depth to it, and he's keeping it out of the middle part of the plate. It's on the outer third, inner third, and the slider's played well too. And as Link said, I feel like he's starting to mix in his third pitch too, which is changeup.
Well, it's been eventful so far as we go to the 4th inning in this elimination game at the College World Series at Charles Schwab Field. Chris Burke, Ben McDonald, you heard from Danny Wexelman, Mike Monaco, our entire crew with you. Troy Claunch against Jack Finley to start this 4th.
It's got to be unsettling for Link, right? You're in an elimination game. You've spotted a world-class offense, 3 runs, who has a bullpen that they can really close out the back end of ball games. Now, I will say the ballpark's playing a little more offensive today, but at this point, you haven't really been able to barrel up too many balls against a Nathan Dettmer that looks locked in. Man, it's got to eat at you to basically gift wrap 3 runs for the Aggies.
The question is, can they flush it? Can they flush it and move forward now? You can't go back and change it. And I think that's when you lean on one of the oldest teams in baseball, right? Notre Dame, a lot of experience. I mean, we added it up with the average age of the starting lineup, over 22 years old. It is an old team.
Think about that. The average age of a starting 9 in college baseball. This is stung by Claunch, but Brooks Coatsy runs it down. 1 away.
All right, let's check out how the anatomy of a 3 spot. So there's already been a walk. Now you don't catch a ball really in the middle of your outfield. Third baseman doesn't quite make his best throw over to first base. And then you get a sac fly later on in the inning. So, I mean, officially there was a hit, but essentially you didn't give up a hit and you gave up a 3 spot.
And through all of this, we've had 2 hits in this game combined. And one of those was the one that dropped in. We just showed you. Well, brings up Brett Minnick, 7-man and right fielder. He struck out swinging on a Liam Simon slider back in the 2nd. Minnick, the 4th-year junior from Colleyville, Texas. Spent a couple of years of junior college at Blinn, then last year showed up at A&M. Started some, and the bat has taken a big step forward this season. Oh-2 from Finley. Pulled toward the gap in right center field. Coatsy cuts it off, and Minnick's got a 1-out single.
Well, Finley hadn't thrown many breaking balls. It's been pretty much all heaters, and this was not a good one here. He left this one up. Watch where this ball is. Trying to get it down and away, but it just hangs right in the middle of the plate, and it is screaming, hit me the whole time as it travels towards home plate. And Brett Minnick recognizes it up right away, keeps his weight back. Barrel comes through. Those are the pitches A&M has not missed all year long. And it was a little bit of a rough start for them before they kind of figured it out and got it going. I mean, they dropped 2 of their first 3 SEC series, but then they win 7 consecutive series in a row. Matter of fact, they go 26-7 down the stretch to get here to the College World Series.
What a big win they had Sunday over Texas. Just the program's 3rd win in Omaha. They hadn't won here since 1993. They had lost 9 in a row, and then you get to be the ones as the Aggies to eliminate the Longhorns.
Yeah.
Now think about year one for Jim Schlossnagle. You win the West. Texas A&M had never done that since joining the SEC. You knock out TCU in the regional final. You host a Super, which is always a fantastic thing for any program, right? Win in 2 games, and then you get to knock out the Longhorns in Omaha and break a huge drought at the College World Series. I mean, short of winning the whole thing, you can't really picture a better year one for Jim Schlossnagle.
Well, I mean, that's why they went and got him at A&M, right? I mean, this is his 6th trip to the College World Series. Took TCU 5 times, 4 in a row, 4 consecutive years at TCU. He makes the College World Series.
2-1 to Jordan Thompson is pop foul. Told us this week that he'd been waking up in a cold sweat in College Station at like 3:30 in the morning, wondering if he had made the right decision leaving TCU after all that time.
We're looking pretty good now.
Yeah, I'd say. 2-2. Thompson bounces it off of Finley's glove and past Preisner in the left center. Minnick moves to third, and instead of a double play ball, perhaps, 1st and 3rd for the Aggies with 1 down.
Well, Notre Dame just cannot catch a break on anything right now. It's a comebacker right to you. I mean, that's the one you want to turn a double play on. Should be a double play. That's the one you want. A one hopper right back to you. And it's on the glove side, too. But the ball takes a weird kind of hop, comes up on Finley, ricochets away, and shortstop Preisner tries to redirect after the ball is redirected. He can't get it as he dives and tries to keep it in the infield. And now you got 1st and 3rd in 1 out for Texas A&M.
Brings up Cole Kaler. He was at the plate when that one dropped between Preisner, Miller, and Myers his last time. Strike 1.
Jordan Thompson's been up to bat 10 times in the College World Series. He's been on base 9 of them.
Jeez.
That's your 8 hole. And Kaler's obviously been productive too. But you know, you always had to have somebody. And it kind of started last weekend in the Super Regional. And man, as he kept it going, 9 out of 10 times in the College World Series reach base safely.
He's been awesome. And we saw him, Berkey, hit that home run against Louisville in game 1 of that Super. And boy, how things have gone since then for him and for the Aggies.
Well, it's been magical. I mean, Ben, he told us he had never hit a home run to center field in his life. And he hits a 2-run homer essentially to win game 1 of that Super, or to get them started, whatever it was. It was only, yeah. And you do it in a Super Regional at home, your first ever home run to center. I mean, he was smiling about it the next day. He has definitely been one of the driving forces to get them here.
Well, and that's what it seems like it takes now, right? It takes for guys to elevate their performances if you're going to make these kind of runs, get to Omaha, and of course win the whole thing. I mean, you look at Ole Miss; they're a perfect example. Fewest amount of wins out of any team here.
Ground ball back up the middle. Preisner to the bag, and this time it's 2. 3-0 Aggies for Jim Schlossnagle and this Texas A&M team against Notre Dame.
Welcome back to Charles Schwab Field. I'm with Aggies head coach Jim Schlossnagle. Coach Nathan Dettmer, he had the start on Friday. Looks like a different pitcher today. What have you seen?
He's just throwing more strikes. You know, he's commanding the strike zone. He's got a good little breaking ball going. They're swinging early in the count, which is helpful. And with the exception of one instance, we've made the plays behind them. So hopefully he can keep it going.
Second elimination game. What's the fight in this team?
I mean, I think you've seen it all year long. I mean, I think any team that make it this far has great resilience and, you know, competitive grit and fight. So Notre Dame's the same as us. You know, they're just fighting. We're all fighting for our lives right now.
Hey, have you had your in-game banana yet?
I've had 2, but I think I may need a rally banana here shortly if we don't stretch the lead a little bit.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mike.
We've had 2 bananas already?
Wow. Don't want to cramp up.
That's right. Potassium levels are high.
You know, it's not quite as hot today as it has been. It's still warm, but it's more comfortable.
It is, and the wind's blowing out, so it's not
go.
blowing right in the
89
face.
feels like 93. That's better than feels like over 100 where it has been, and the wind's taking a little bit of a turn.
Ben, you were showing off the pipes yesterday up here.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I was just showing Berkey what pipes look like. There's your bananas.
That's how you catch armadillos?
Well, you got. Well, it takes big hands.
Big fingers too, like you and
Long
Skip.
fingers. No, Skip's got the longest fingers. I mean, they're like this.
Could he have caught an armadillo?
Yeah, one-handed.
Well, Dettmer's been really good so far, as you heard his head coach Jim Schlossnagel say. Second time through the order, 3, 4, and 5. Carter putts grounded to third, his first time back in the first inning. Would you be less aggressive as an offense second time through if you're Notre Dame? You heard Schloss say that they have been swinging early against Dettmer. Do you just stick to your plan against it?
I would say the latter, right? If you had a plan and the plan was be aggressive, and you got a guy that's now, you know, deeper into the ball game, I would stick with it.
Well, the sinker's getting ground balls, and so too is the slider.
Because it's not like he's walking people, right? So the question is, okay, maybe we're going to stay aggressive, but are we going to do something different maybe with the approach of how we're going to be aggressive? And at some point, you got to start to maybe change the thought process on the swing plane, because if the swing we want to take keeps producing balls that are beat in the ground, maybe at some point we got to reroute that barrel and try to get below the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and of course with a sinker ball, you want to see it a little bit up before you offer it, right? Like that's the one you want to see it up. Now that's the changeup. Because a good sinker ball guy, if it starts at the knees, it's not going to be a strike. The question is, are you disciplined enough to be able to recognize that and lay off of it and take it for ball one?
Dave LaManna squared to bunt, and now he rolls one foul. He's behind 0-2. The cleanup man and catcher flew to center his first time. Good catch. Dettmer's 0-2. Stays up. LaManna had the big home run for Notre Dame in Game 3 of the Super Regional at Tennessee a couple of weekends ago. Opposite field to tie the game before Jack Brannigan put Notre Dame on top. They hung on to win and punch a ticket here, where they are for just the third time in program history and for the first time in 20 years. 2-2. Bouncing ball back up the middle into center. And Notre Dame has its first hit of the ball game, a one-out single from Dave LaManna in the fourth.
All right, let's see if the Irish can pay this one off. Now you got a sinker ball pitcher, right? You got first and third. I know you're down 3, but these are the kinds of situations where Link Jarrett, obviously you got one of your best power guys up here in Brannigan, but really sets up good for a hit and run kind of scenario if you choose to press that button.
A&M plays Brannigan to pull on the infield, and he takes strike one. Ultra talented two-way player from Orland Park, Illinois, Chicago suburb. Up and away, 1-1.
Hit and run right here. What do you think?
Be a good count.
Flared towards second and caught by Targac.
Good thing he did, because he got doubled up.
No, second baseman's covering on a stolen base. That's a money first and third. You move him right there. It is a layup. No, not on a line, not on a, I mean, where he's playing back on the cut of that grass, right? And that ball had enough. If he's moving, look where he is. He's got it. Look, if he's moving at all towards second base, that ball falls, right? Because he snow-coned it without having to move. I get it. You're down 3. You don't want to take too big of a risk. It just so happens that had he been moving on that play, it would have been
brought him over, huh?
It at least caused him to make a step or two, right? You gotta at least start to make your way that way.
I didn't know if he, as close as he was to the bag, does he hang as long as he can on that to see the ball, if it's going to be contacted or not?
So there's 2 schools of thought there, right? One is just vacate immediately. The other one for me was, okay, I'm not going to vacate, but I got to start moving forward at least. So that, you know, that forward movement probably is enough to get it over Targacz's head. Yeah.
Vacate immediately as in just bolt for the bat.
Off you go. There's some coaches you play for that say you have to be on time at second base. Like, I need you there early. There's others that are like, I'm okay with you being a little tardy. I don't want you to just completely give up your position.
Especially with a ground ball pitcher, you know, in that situation, because he's going to create a lot of them.
How about Nathan Dettmer? This is the 15th batter he's faced. 6 times now he's been ahead 0-2.
Yeah, and it's not been a lot of hard contact either. Like, that fastball's got some real sink to it, and he's put Notre Dame hitters on the defense right away. He's thrown a lot of first pitch strikes.
0-2 to Jack Ziska. Check swing, and Ziska went around. He doesn't like it, but he strikes out against Nathan Dettmer, who has punched out 4 in 4 shutout innings of 1-hit ball here in Omaha. That is some pretty good history for Oklahoma. The other times they have started 2-0 here, they have won the national championship when Bucky Buckles was the closer for the Sooners. And the winner of this one will have another elimination game tomorrow at 1 o'clock local, 2 o'clock Eastern, right here on ESPN against the Sooners.
Boy, is head coach Skip Johnson a hoot to talk to, huh? He is something else, but he's got that team rolling right now.
Trevor Werner tugs this one to left and gone. A leadoff rocket into the bullpen. 4-0 Aggies.
Talk about some real juice. How about 106.6 off the bat from Trevor Werner, and that Pringles tastes a little bit better after a ball that's barreled up like that.
Balk.
He has the ability for hard contact at all times. We told you about the great AB he had the other day in that 10-2 win for A&M over the Longhorns. And Jim Schlossnagle was talking afterward about Trevor Werner. He said if he were to come back next year, he's a third-year sophomore right now, so he's draft eligible. He said, I think he's an SEC Player of the Year type of candidate, just with his ability. That's what he's capable of.
Well, certainly the raw tools are there. We haven't seen it for extended periods of time, and a lot of that's because of the injuries that he's dealt with this year. But I mean, it's 6'4", 210, can run, can throw. There's juice. Definitely a lot to like about him from a prospect standpoint.
2-2 on Jack Moss.
Had not hit a home run since May 27th, so that one had to feel pretty good.
A guy who in the fall and then preseason in the spring, his average exit velo was at or over 100 miles an hour. Brooks Coetzee on the run, dives it, can't get there. Jack Moss sends it to the wall, and he follows the home run with a double.
Can't leave one there to Jack Moss. I mean, that's simple for a left-hander. Just simply just go drop the head on it. That breaking ball just kind of sat there and spun, stayed middle in. This is one of the most impressive hitters I've seen all year long.
Yeah.
The ability to hit the ball the other way. Look at this ball just sitting right up in the zone. You talk about pitch recognition. There is no drifting forward at all. He gets that front foot down and just finds a barrel out towards right center field. Nice effort by the right fielder, Coatsy. Boy, A&M just keeps on coming. And this is what they do. I mean, this is what they do 1 through 9.
And that's why you can't gift wrap them a 3-spot early in the ball game, right? Because you know eventually they're going to start banging.
And now Dave LaMotta with a pass ball that advances Jack Moss to third.
I mean, you're talking about a team that scored 8 runs on Oklahoma's best arms, like game 1, right? Now they didn't see Cade Horton, but like, so you know, this is an offense that scored a whole bunch of runs in 2 games, and the bats have been maybe a little silent early, but they've been able to take advantage of some miscues by the Irish, and now the bats are waking up. Chuck Ristano going to go have a conversation with his young left-hander. Things are getting a little shaky here in the 5th.
41 pitches, and Alex Rayo is getting up for Notre Dame. It's been a home run and a double this inning.
So there's that 4-seamer. You see Werner just do a really, really nice job. The bat leaves his hands as soon as he makes contact with this one. And he hits it on a sweet spot on the day where the wind's not blowing straight in and the ballpark has no chance to hold it. A 3-iron off the back bullpen wall. 106 miles an hour. The Aggies are feeling pretty good about it.
Kind of went out there and hooked that one, didn't he? Remember the ball Elko hit last night? Ball away. I mean, you talk about go out and hook one. That's impressive.
To be able to on it, right?
Stay on it and
it.
just hook right across of it. The ball Elko hit way out, and that one was off the back of the wall, too.
A couple strong men, Elko and Werner.
Yeah, no doubt. And for more on one of them, let's go down to Danny.
Well, Berkey, you said it. He had 2 major injuries this year, starting with that oblique injury. He was out 4 weeks. And then he had the hamate break. He had to have surgery for that. And when I talked to him earlier this year, he said, it's been a learning curve. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm rounding into form. Coach Schloss said he's a guy who can change the game with just one swing. Mike?
Yeah, he is proving that here over these last couple of days in Omaha. So Jack Moss, the runner at third. Dylan Rock, the batter, out of the 3 spot for A&M. A strikeout, and he reached on an error. And he's ahead in the count 2-1. Another one of the top relievers for Notre Dame. We told you Alex Rayo. He's got a great changeup. Two 1. Pulled to left, and that drops down a hit, and it adds another for A&M. They've been waiting on Dylan Rock, and he supplies a 5th run.
That's a welcome sign for this Aggie offense, right? Dylan Rock came into today 0 for 7 at the College World Series. Jack Moss was just 2 for 10 and had punched out in his previous 2 at-bats. And Moss goes double, Rock goes single. And the Aggies are all bubbles right now in the 5th.
Like Jarrett strides out of that third base dugout. Jack Finley has been so good the last few weeks for Notre Dame. Not much swing and miss from Texas A&M ever, and not today against Finley. So the Irish turn to Alex Rayo. A&M smiles in their first base dugout. Well, we got 6 teams left here in Omaha at the Men's College World Series. Texas is gone. Stanford is gone. We've got the brackets you see, and then each bracket winner heads off to the College World Series final. Best of 3 that starts Saturday. The teams in the driver's seat, Oklahoma and Ole Miss, looks pretty good, the starts that they are off to, as we welcome you back here inside the ballpark. Ben McDonald, Chris Burke, Mike Monaco with you, Danny Wexelman down on the field. And guys, who do you like the way things are right now?
Well, I like the 2-0 teams, right? I mean, you're always going to gamble on the 2-0 teams at this point. The odds are just so much in their favor. But you look at the way that both of those two teams are playing, the way they've pitched, the offensive contributions they're getting, it would be hard to picture somebody coming back and beating both those teams twice at this point.
Yeah, I think it's too difficult. I mean, you got to win 4 games in a row in 4 days. That's hard to do. And the way Ole Miss is pitching it right now, I mean, you go back and look, but they've given up 6 runs now in their last 4 games, 2 shutouts, and they're super regional at Southern Miss. Of course, the pitchers continue to do it. Hunter Elliott was big again last night. DeLucia's pitching as well as anybody. Now it sets up pretty good for them to roll back DeLucia if they choose to do that.
How do you do it if you're in these elimination games, whether it's 4 and 4 or 3 games in 3 days? Like, how can you accomplish that as hard as it is?
I mean, it's an old baseball saying, right? You got to take them 1 day at a time, 1 inning at a time. I think you try to win every inning. You don't look too far ahead. You just take care of your business in the moment that you're in right now. And it'll go by fast. You get in that winner's bracket and you get to winning, you get some momentum built up, but it's going to be difficult to do.
Yeah, I would agree with everything Ben just said, but you do have to have a plan, right? We talked to Butch Thompson about that yesterday. Like, you look at what some of these teams, what you're up against, Oklahoma, and 21 runs on 23 hits in 2 games, right? Like, you're going to have your hands full if you're going to come back and beat a team like that. You better have a plan, especially on the pitching side of things, on how you're going to do it. And how about this Ole Miss team? 17th team, to win 7 tournament games in a row. So you're up against 2 teams that feel like it's their moment. And if you're going to do that, if you're going to come back and climb that mountain, you better be right on with how you see all the innings playing out. Easier said than done, I'd say, at this point.
Yeah, and for all those Ole Miss fans out there that wanted Mike Bianco fired about 6 weeks ago, they better be figuring out where they're going to build that statue of him out there in front of that ballpark. That's kind of where it is right now.
A&M's got the Pringles. They can keep feeding them and carrying them in this elimination game as well. They're going to see another Notre Dame arm, Alex Rayo, who's got really good stuff. He has averaged 96 miles an hour with his fastball just here in Omaha. That is top 6 fastball velocities here.
This stuff is really, really interesting, right? You said the heater's up to 96, but to me, the changeup is an absolute difference maker. I think one of the best swing and miss pitches in all of college baseball. He put that one on full display for us the other night against the Longhorns, and at this point, it could be Rayo for a while here. They need to find somebody that can keep this offense down.
Senior right-hander from Florida against Austin Boast, who tipped that one foul into the glove of Dave LaMotta. It's 1-1. Boast with a double in the second, leading off that inning, and then a walk in the third.
And some conversation with his skipper in the dugout on some base running that.
Just a little disagreement.
Yeah, both times he's been on, there's been some adventure. He lines this one behind Preisner into center field, a base hit. His second knock, 3rd time he's been on. 2 aboard for A&M and showing no signs of slowing down.
So we've seen this arm side run from Rayo with the fastball. And, the phrase stay inside the ball gets thrown around baseball a lot. And this is exactly what it looks like. So watch how close his arms stay to his body. And even though he catches that one on the handle, like, the idea is, can I keep the sweet spot as close to me as possible so I can get it inside the baseball? And even if you don't quite get it on the screws, the barrel's flat and you can dump kind of a soft liner into the outfield. Nice piece of hitting right there by Austin Boast.
Brings up Ryan Targach. Had the sac fly his last time.
Old saying in baseball.
A lot of arm side run.
There's a lot more hits towards the handle than there are towards the end, right? And usually, why is that? Because when you get jammed a little bit, the barrel is still square. And so even if you don't hit it perfect, you got a chance to create enough elevation to get the ball into the shallow part of the outfield, which there's a lot of hits out there.
Rayo's 1-0 is a strike. One pitch in the air, left field. Ryan Cole drifts back and makes the catch. 1 down.
Good job there from Austin Boast. Lead guy didn't tag. He didn't tag. All's well that ends well there. Back to being on the same page. Just see if we get a smile out of him there. Probably not. Sauce is way to go.
Hey, when Boast got to first, by the way, guys, in the dugout, his teammates telling him, stay there, don't go anywhere.
It's one way to get the coach off your back, a little base knock.
Nothing like a good dugout chirp from the boys, huh? Here's Troy Claunch. Takes strike one. It's such a deliberate offensive approach from this A&M team, and it was interesting chatting with Troy earlier this week. Watch his setup here. He looks at the bat and then he looks at the right field foul pole, and he does that every single time. And it's something they talk about as hitters, just with their breathing. Pulls this one to short at Preisner. Ooh. Not in time, trying to double off Dylan Rock. That was close.
It was close. Irish didn't put up too much of a fight there, did they, Ben?
No, I thought he got back in plenty of time. We'll take a look.
Yeah, definitely there. That's a good job because that ball's towards the 6-hole, right? It's easy for a runner to cross over and go, thinking maybe that ball's going to sneak through. Nice job there by Rock to not lose his concentration on the bases and give up a free out.
Well, you see what he's doing right there. He's checking where all the outfielders are, where the infielders are. Now, it doesn't matter so much with 2 strikes, right? Or 2 outs, rather. You're going to go on anything. But especially with the shifts in today's game, you got to have your head on a swivel at second base or first base. You got to know where the infielders are and where the outfielders are, for that matter, before the pitch even goes to the plate. That way you don't have to wonder if a ball's going to fall in or not.
Yeah, you mentioned the outfielders too. We didn't see it the other day, Ben, in our game, Texas and Texas A&M, but Schloss was telling us that when they played Texas and Ivan Melendez, Golden Spikes Award finalist earlier this year, they went 4 outfielders on him, and he was thinking about doing it on Sunday as well.
Ooh, there's that good changeup you talked about. So fastball up to 96, take about 10 miles an hour off, and it's not a straight changeup either. It fades down and away. But it's going to be up to this Notre Dame bullpen from this point forward, because if they're going to complete a comeback, it's going to be because this bullpen came in and started stacking some zeros against Texas A&M, which is hard to do.
0-2 is low to Brett Minnick, who singled his last time.
He's ready. There you go. You got the hands loaded up. Go ahead, let's see the move. See it. Let's go ahead. Let it rip. Oh, he's going to wait for the pitch here. I like it. Get one up now. We got to see the change up. Oh, I don't know about that. Let's not do that.
Well, he's from Texas A&M. He's got to take a couple first.
Swing and a miss. Rayo strikes out Brett Minnick here in the 5th. But Texas A&M is rolling. They have only given up 1 hit. They add 2 more runs. They lead 5-0. And yeah, they've got the power of the Pringles as well. The vibes are good for the Aggies trying to stay alive here in Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah, it sure is. History indeed, and part of this fun ride that Texas A&M has been on with the sheriff, Micah Dallas.
The sheriff of Pringletown. Only in baseball.
We were talking with him earlier this week, and Berkey, you had brought it to my attention. He didn't have the holster during the Super Regionals against Louisville. He says, I don't want to do it the day before I start, because he just feels like the opponent sees next day's starting pitcher kind of acting all silly in the dugout. He's got the Pringles around the waist. But once you've already pitched, he says, I'll put on the clown
game
mask.
on then, yeah.
Look,
he started
holster?
getting game mode, you know, the day before.
Jarrett Miller strokes one deep left field toward the corner, at the wall and off the wall. Miller to second with a leadoff double to begin the bottom of the 5th with Notre Dame down 5.
Love this approach. Boy, this is what Notre Dame needs. They need some action. First time today they have had the leadoff batter of an inning on inside out swing. And boy, I thought this ball had a real chance to get out. Dylan Rock up against the wall. an easy double. See Rocky's the right route to the ball. Well, that's tough right there. That was close.
He took a peek. See how late the peek was? And then he got offline with it just a touch. It's almost like that late peek kept him from being able to finish that play. Of course, you understand why he's peeking, right? He wants to find the fence. But when you're that close to baseball, you really got to trust your feet to tell you where you're at relative to the fence, right? You know, okay, it's 2 steps, I'm at the wall when I hit the track. That's some of the stuff you're doing when you get your work in before the game. But for whatever reason, he got midway into the track, wanted to take one more peek, or else he could have come up with a fantastic play right there at the wall.
And so just the second hit off Nathan Dettmer, who is a ground ball factory to Trevor Werner, who retires Zach Preisner. Preisner now twice has grounded to Werner.
Was that 5 ground balls to Werner? First one he makes an error on, but 5 ground balls his way, and that sinker's got some real action to it.
He made a what on the first play?
Error.
An error?
Yeah.
Or what is it?
Error. How do you say it?
That's my favorite word. I'm not even going to say it because I just like to hear you say it.
Is it not an error?
No, it is. It's exactly what it is.
Brooks Coatsy, the batter. We had fun talking about different accents, and it's funny too, like when people realize or don't realize that they themselves have an accent.
Yeah, I never knew I said error funny. until Berkey brought it to my attention.
You don't. You say it beautifully. How about a forkball? How do you say forkball?
Forkball.
Coatsy trying to bunt that one, fouled it off himself. Small ball down 5.
Looks like he's all right. I don't think that's. I think that's coming from Coatsy. Yeah, I think he's trying to sneak one past Werner. I mean, with 1 out and a runner on second, I'd be shocked if that's coming from the bench.
Yep. He has struggled with the bat over the last few weeks. He's dropped down to the 9 spot in a reshuffled Notre Dame lineup. Nathan Dettmer's 1-1.
Ball at 10.
Well, Dettmer is just pounding the inside part of the plate to the right-handers.
He was their opening day starting pitcher. SEC tournament, he didn't make it out of the 2nd inning in that one. Regionals didn't get out of the 5th. It's a swing and a miss from Coatsy.
And I've seen Dettmer, what, 3 or 4 times this year, and this is the best I've seen him as far as the movement and the action on the 2-seam fastball. Like, it's real today. And it's weird how it changes from one start, because the other day, now he was only in an inning and 2/3, but he didn't throw, it didn't feel like even 1 or 2 sinkers that had even close to that kind of action to it.
Well, we talked about it earlier, right?
Yep.
I mean, Schloss saying, I'm hoping from a sinker ball standpoint that, yeah, you could view it as short rest, but sometimes that's the best thing for a sinker baller. The velo more 91, 92, not as many 94, 95s, and the ball's got more depth to it.
His 2-2.
Look at that.
Strikes out Coatsy.
I'll tell you what, you can't throw a 2-seamer any better than that. And it starts just about knee high as it makes its way towards home plate. I mean, it's got to be dropping what feels like 6 or 7 inches. Take a look at the last 2. A good sinker just down, and he comes right back with it again. It's just disappearing.
He was so good against Vanderbilt, among many good starts in late April, but it was after that start his teammates were walking away from it saying the sinker is disgusting.
And then there's the changeup, which to me the changeup's been much better than the breaking ball. But you look at the difference in these 2 starts. An inning and 2/3, 7 earnings. Today, 4 2/3, 5 punch outs. He didn't get nearly as many swings and misses the other day, just the 1 punch out.
He's facing the leadoff man for Notre Dame, Ryan Cole. takes down again.
I will say on the flip side, we spend a lot of time these days talking about how hitters need to defend the four-seamer up. We talk about trying to get on top, and we talk about trying to keep the barrel above the ball. The opposite is true against the sinker. Like at some point you go, man, if we keep swinging above the ball, we got to try to get the barrel below it. And to this point, Notre Dame hasn't really made that adjustment, especially the righties. And this is why the four-seamer came back in vogue, right? Because when guys started dropping the barrel and launching sinkers, what did the pitchers do? Oh, wait a second. Let me grab that four-seamer and pitch above the belt.
And now we're back in an era, it feels like for me, watching this year, that we're starting to see more of these kind of pitchers. Guys are starting to sink it because hitters have worked so hard the last 3 or 4 years, especially at the MLB level, to try to get to that elevated four-seam fastball.
Another bouncing ball to short. Cole Kaler's got to hurry, and he does to throw out Ryan Cole. It's old school. Maybe it's coming back as new school. It's a joy to watch. Nathan Dettmer is rolling. The Tiger Walk for Auburn playing in an elimination game against Arkansas tonight. About 3 hours from now over on ESPN2. What a season they've had as well. They had some question if they would be a regional host. They were, and for the second time in the last 3 NCAA tournaments, the Tigers back here in Omaha.
They were a regional host, and they boat raced their regional essentially, right? Made pretty easy work of that. But then they go and do something on the road that nobody has ever done, which is beat Oregon State at Oregon State. And Butch Thompson and the Auburn Tigers have had some sort of special run here in the postseason.
And I don't think anybody saw it coming because the way they finished the season, right?
Jordan Thompson grounds out to third.
That offense got rolling in that regional, you know, and they came in, believe it or not, as the most offensive team here out of the 8 that made it to Omaha. They were averaging 11 runs per game in the regional and the super regional.
Put up a couple football scores in that regional, as did many.
Like we saw across the country. Yeah, it'll be a good one. Arkansas with the big first game showing against Stanford, put up 17. And then Auburn yesterday eliminating the number 2 national seed Stanford. It was pretty quiet here in their 2 games.
A lot like Texas, right? The Horns only scored 5 runs. Stanford's offense, it was, you know, arguably the best offense that they'd had in the history of their program.
Yeah.
Just didn't show up.
There is a piece to Omaha that feels like a brand new event, right? Nobody's playing at a home field, and the ballpark, the elements of the ballpark certainly change the way the game can be played. Even though we see Arkansas score 18 when the wind was blowing in, like it doesn't mean you can't score, but it definitely changes.
It's more difficult.
Yes.
You know, and that's the thing. Once you do it one way for 60 games, it's hard to come somewhere else where you realize, okay, maybe it may not be as offensive and change what you've done all year long. I don't think you can change that.
Cole Kaler works a 4-pitch walk with 1 out here in the 6th inning, and A&M up by 5. Hey, the Stanley Cup final continues tomorrow night with Game 4. The Lightning looking to even up the series. They took Game 3 last night 6-2. Our coverage starts 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain on ABC and ESPN+.
6 Mountain.
Time zones confuse me.
There's your snowball again.
Come on. Don't take the bait.
Laying off of it. Spitting on that 1-0 slider.
Back to the top for Trevor Werner. He's walked and homered. We're talking about offense around the country. Berkey, you saw so much of it on squeeze play that first weekend. Mike Rooney, our great colleague, he was holding down squeeze play for each of the first 2 weekends, and I'm sitting with Runes in the hotel lobby last night, like 6 other people. An Ole Miss fan walks by, sees Mike Rooney, and just starts yelling squeeze play. I kid you not.
It's catching on. Yeah, we had a blast. The regional weekend was like, I'm just telling you, there is no other way to watch the regionals than squeeze play. And obviously, you know, Danny and Chris Budden and Runes crushed it for the Supers too. But we did a quad box, meaning we had 4 games going at one time for 4 straight hours at one point.
Werner in into center field, another base hit. He's on for the third time. Cole Kaler stops at second, 2 on for the Aggies.
And just to watch the drama play out and to watch all the different plays that were being made across the country, it was a blast. And there's nobody better to do it with than the crew we have. But yes, Runes is a college baseball legend for his work on squeeze play.
What if there was like a 16 box? Like
we got to 6 at one point. It's just a matter. I don't, you guys like me and you don't handle the technology piece, but I guess they can't fit all of those on one screen.
One game on one screen's enough for me.
That's all you can handle.
No, that's all I need.
I will say your eye discipline is definitely tested. You got to try. Rune says work from the inside out, but then in a quad box you have to just kind of keep bouncing around. I mean, it's learned. You got to make adjustments as the weekend goes on.
It's the red zone of college baseball for the uninitiated out there, and we had some fun with it in the postseason, and hope you enjoyed it too. I do think, Ben, you're pretty tech savvy. Your selfie game is strong.
Yeah, that's about where it maxes out, maybe. Not real good at texting. My fingers are too big.
Well, Lick Jarrett comes out with Alex Rayo at 20 pitches. A walk and a single after the ground ball to begin this sixth. And Notre Dame down by 5. Well, Alex Rayo, a senior right-hander, has given a lot to this program over the course of the last 4 seasons. He departs. Will Mercer will take over in this elimination game here at the College World Series. Omaha, the site for the Men's College World Series. We're in the 6th inning. It has been all Texas A&M in this winner go home against Notre Dame, who goes now to its 4th pitcher, the senior lefty Will Mercer.
Yeah, Mercer on the year 2-1, 20 innings of work. A little bit of injuries have slowed him down along the way. It's the reason why he doesn't have as many innings or appearances that he typically would have. 20 punch outs, 8 walks on the year.
Comes on for the lefty in the 2 spot for Texas A&M, Jack Moss. Struck out his first 2 times and then doubled to right center and scored in the 5th. Strike 1 to Moss.
And the move to go to Mercer here, Moss 420 against righties, 310 against left-handers. So not a bad number, but when you compare it to what he does against right-handers, you can see why they felt like they needed to go get the lefty.
It's more than 100 hits this season for Jack Moss after transferring in from Arizona State. The single season hits leader for Texas A&M is Jason Tyner, 1998. He had 107.
So you think about it, though, Jack Moss, no disrespect to Jason Tyner, but Jason Tyner could fly, right? Like world-class runner. Jack Moss probably has earned about 98%. Or let's just say most of his hits have probably left the infield. All that to say, again, not downplaying 107 hits from Jason Tyner, but your big 6'4" first baseman get over 100 hits. That is a monster year.
And he can cover it, too. He can cover both sides of the plate.
This one kicks away from Dave LaMotta back toward Mercer, and both runners move up. Kaler to third, Werner to second here in the 6th.
Well, you can see that one stung LaMotta, and that really just a heck of a job to keep the ball in front of him. And even though the runners were allowed to advance, that ball was destined for the backstop until he was able to get in front. Looks like it caught him on the collarbone.
Yeah, these are one of the ones you have no shot. It's so far out in front of home plate. I mean, he does all he can do, just get a body in front of it. But I mean, look at that ball. That ball hit what, 8 feet out in front of home plate?
That's a guy who has gone into the squad many times over 5 years as Notre Dame's catcher. So 2 in scoring position for Moss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a breaking ball strikes out Moss. 2 gone.
Well, that's big there. I mean, second and third, only one out. Don't need a base hit to score a run. Notre Dame had brought the infield in. Dettmer staying loose.
The day is not done yet, is it? Definitely going back for one more. See what they go back. See how deep they let him go. But certainly looks like he's headed out for the bottom half.
It's already his longest outing since late April. Mentioned that start at Vandy when he went 7. We'll see what the Aggies do should they add on here in the 6th. Up 5-0 for now. Dylan Rock, the batter. Takes strike 1. A&M went down 1-2-3 in the first. And since then, every inning, at least 2 base runners. Unrelenting. Mercer's 0-1. Breaking ball. Good block by Lamanna.
Yeah, it's just what they do, isn't it? I mean, they just it's just constantly putting pressure on your defense. Your pitcher's always out of the stretch. He's always worried about making a mistake that could end up being, 2 or 3 runs with one swing of the bat. It's got to be exhausting to play against this offense.
100%. These are the worst ones. I've never seen a team that it feels like they intentionally foul off balls like they do. They just flick them foul, on good pitches too, and it almost makes you the pitcher just say, you know what, I'm just going to attack the middle part of the zone, down, and try to create some ground balls if I can.
You got so sick of facing Wade Boggs.
Yes, for that reason. I mean, it felt like you'd get him down 0-2, 1-2, and he would just kind of grin and just flick balls foul, and all of a sudden, it's a 9-pitch at bat, and he probably still got a base hit. Remember the first time I ever faced him, I was nervous. I was 21 years old, spring training, and Bob Melvin comes out and goes, "You all right?" And I go, "Yeah, man, that's Boggs stepping in the box." He said, "Just throw the first heater right down the middle. He never swings at the first pitch. Just get ahead, strike 1." Okay. I throw the first pitch right down. He hits the hardest line drive right back at my forehead. And I'm laying on my rear end in the middle of the mound, and thank gosh it missed me. It skips out. I'm looking in at Melvin. He goes, "He never swings at the first pitch. I don't know what happened." Lesson learned. Lesson learned on like any 3-0 counts. Assume somebody's swinging. Never assume somebody's taking the ball.
Yeah, you try it, Bob.
Yeah,
you throw it down the middle.
Yeah, just get ahead.
Mercer's 2-2. Blocked again by Lamanna with runners at second and third. Now full count on Rock. Two on, 2 out, 3-2. Wow, just misses, and they are loaded.
Caught plate, must have been low.
I mean, A&M's one of those teams, they take so many pitches. I mean, I guess this ball's down, I guess. Like, I always wonder, like, how do you take that? At 90. Like, it's one thing if it's like 96 and you feel like you got to get the ball at your belt, but they take some pitches where you're feeling like, man, if you're really in swing mode, I don't even know how you don't try to rip that ball in the corner. And, it's a walk and he runs the first base, but their ability to just hunt the ball middle, almost regardless of count, is pretty rare for college hitters.
They've loaded him up for the cleanup man, Austin Bose. A double, a walk, and a single for Bose in this one. And he drives this one to center. Spencer Myers on the move to the track, and he makes the running catch. The inning is over. A&M leaves him loaded in the 6th. Notre Dame is down by 5. They've got 2, 3, and 4 coming with Myers, Putz, and Lamanna.
Boy, Nathan Dettmer has been outstanding today for A&M. Rough start his last time out, but not this one. He's been throwing that 2-seam fastball down, and just Notre Dame just keeps pounding it in the ground. In about the 3rd inning, the changeup started to come around. And now he's changed his views that changeup. Nice and down, picked up a couple of strikeouts on it. Watch him pronate this ball. He kind of turns it over, and how about that late action, almost straight down. So slider's been good to the outside part of the plate. Fastball, he has stayed down, created a lot of ground balls, and now the changeup has become a difference maker as well. 5 innings of work, only 2 hit, not many balls barreled up at all, and that's the big one for me, that second to the last number on the right. He has not walked a batter today to go along with 5 strikeouts.
We told you how long it's been since he has had a start this long. The entire month of April, he was downright dominant for Texas A&M, who leads this game by 5. And a reminder, no team has overcome a 5-run deficit since the Men's College World Series moved to this ballpark in 2011.
So you're saying you don't like their chances?
Odds are not great.
Odds aren't great, but there's a first time for everything. This Notre Dame team's broken a few odds this year.
Yes, they have.
That's a strike to Spencer Myers. Yeah, this offense, first 5 innings of this College World Series against Texas, they had 6 runs on 10 hits. The last 18 innings, just 3 runs for them. 2-2.
And Dettmer impressed me in the first inning because he had the bad outing, and you know that's in the back of his mind. And all of a sudden you get an error to lead off the game by Ryan Cole. Or, Ryan Cole gets on an error by Werner, and all of a sudden you start thinking, okay, in the back of your mind, here we go again. Is it going to unravel again like it did against Oklahoma when he gave up 7 earned runs in 1 2/3? But he just buckled down with a runner at second base and 1 out and started making some pitches. And he got out of the first inning, and he has been on a roll since then.
Well, and no disrespect to Dettmer's second half, but it's not just been a bad outing. Like, I mean, it's been a bad 6-7 weeks. It hasn't been awful, but there hasn't been a great one in the bunch, right?
You have to be mentally strong, to be able to go out there and do that.
He's just a machine right now, getting these ground balls.
And I'm going to tell you, there was some folks rumbling a little bit about why he is starting this game because of the struggles he has had. There were some rumbles. Jim Schlossnagle believes in him, and he believed that he could go out and do the job, and he trusted him. And look what he's done with his outs. Only 3 fly ball outs. He's kept on the ground. 8 outs, of course, 5 strikeouts. Not a big strikeout guy. 76 punch outs for Dettmer in 85 innings of work. And look, 10 more base hits, too, than innings pitched going in, too.
Well, back behind him out there in the bullpen, that's Menifee. Joseph Menifee, one of the top relievers for A&M.
And you know what? He's still carrying his velocity well, too. That one was at 94, and here we are in the 6th inning.
Well, it'll be interesting because you see Menifee coming up, right? Menifee is not a sinker baller. It's more of that elevated 4-seamer, and then he likes to break the breaking ball off of it. And, you can make a pretty good case. This is not normally the case here. Normally, you'd love fly ball pitchers here at the Chuck. But on a day where the wind's blowing out steadily, you got to love having a sinker baller on the mound, right? Because there is definitely the opportunity to hit the ball out of here to any part of the park more than normal.
Swords all over the place.
That was a real breaking ball there. We talk about the changeup has been the better of the 2 secondary pitches, but that was a fantastic slider there.
I think they've all been good, and maybe not the sliders had that consistent good break like that, but he's not left many of them in the middle part of the plate. Even when he's thrown that breaking ball, it's been right on the outside part of the plate, right out there. There he tries that backdoor 2-seamer, tries to start it off the outside and have it leak back over and just miss it. But how about the velocity? Right. 95, he's still rocking here.
To Notre Dame's 3-hitter, Carter Potts. Got a 4-hit day Sunday, a couple of ground outs to third today. And a ground ball to short this time, and Cole Kaler dug out by Moss. 2 gone.
It's a clinic right now. I mean, he's slowing the bats down, speeding them back up.
So here's a question. I mean, Berkey, you laid it out earlier, talking to Schloss. He's thinking ahead, as you have to do when you're trying to win elimination games and get to the objective at the finish line. When is enough enough? You got 5 runs. You got 78 pitches out of him. You would bring him back maybe 4 days of rest Sunday for game 2 of the final if you're there?
Yeah, we talked about having a plan, right? If you're going to be that team that comes all the way back, you got to already have a plan. I think giving that plan to your team is part of building confidence. We talked about that yesterday with Auburn. I think it's pretty obvious with Menifee warming up in a bullpen, like this is it for him. This will be it for Dettmer, and you you could argue that because the lead isn't gigantic, but I think to be fair to the kid, right, he's pitching on 2 days rest right now after 44 pitches, which isn't nothing.
Yeah.
And if you're going to bring him back 5 days later, you can't have him go, I don't think, 110 or so today. Like, it makes sense to shorten it.
Because the first short rest sometimes doesn't do you damage. It's the second short rest that really just jumps on you. Because what he pitched on Friday? So he's had Friday, Saturday. So he's had 3 days rest. Pitched on Tuesday. So 44 pitches. His first time out. So you short rest him this time, but you know, you start short resting again and you only give him 2 or 3, then it becomes difficult.
Oh, he's ahead of Dave LaManna, 0-2. LaManna just flails at that slider.
That one was really tight. 88 right there. That was almost like a hard cutter.
It's almost like he knows this is the finish line for him. So he's just emptying the tank right now because we've seen the velo tick up to 95. The slider's even a little bit firmer too. And he might have been told, hey, you got 3 more outs. I want 1 more. You get me through 6. Give me a 5-0 lead. And we're going to get you out of the ball game.
0-2 again. Bounced in.
89.
Yeah, see,
he's starting to rip that sucker, isn't he?
He's smelling that finish line now for him.
We told you when he was really good, it was electric. I mean, back in April, he was dealing. 8 innings, no earned against Georgia. Pitched well against Arkansas. The dandy against Vandy. 5 earned and 5 starts in the month of April. Looking like that guy here today in June. Fouled off by LaManna. And at that time, Schloss said he's becoming what we thought he would become, which is a legitimate SEC ace. Another 1-2. In the air, right field. And Brett Menick calls for it and secures it. 6 shutout from Nathan Dettmer in a win or go home against Notre Dame. Aggies by 5. An elimination game, and it has been all Texas A&M. Dropped their opener, won their first elimination game against their rival in Texas on Sunday, and then Nathan Dettmer has steered the ship here in this one against Notre Dame.
Have we still got his hat on, Ben? I don't think I saw.
I didn't see Slosh go down and congratulate him.
Handshake,
I saw some high fives by his teammates, but that might be what they do every inning.
Oh, this is interesting. We're not seeing the traditional look of a guy who's exited the game. Maybe they're thinking if he pitched so well on a little short rest this time, maybe the next time.
Keep going to the well, huh?
Yeah.
He's thrown 129 pitches now over the course of 5 days. The 44 on Friday, the 85 here today in 6 shutout. Well, 7th inning, A&M will look to add on. Ryan Targach in the 5 spot leads things off against Will Mercer, the Notre Dame lefty. Again, this A&M team missed the NCAA tournament last season. They hadn't previously missed since 06 and 05.
Yeah, I just talked to pitching coach Nate Yeske. He told me they are going to bring Nathan Dettmer back out.
Okay, well, there you go.
How's that for access?
Well done, Danny.
Say that pine tar. We say that pine tar.
Appreciated from A&M. 2-2. Thinking being you got to win this one.
Could be. Maybe not feeling comfortable, you know, with a 5-0 lead and bringing the relievers in for 9 outs. Maybe he's going to try to shorten it a little bit more. And it may be one of those ones, hey, we're going to leave you in until the first guy gets on.
Yeah.
First guy gets on, you're out.
2-2. Outside, full count. Here's the other thing on the flip side of Notre Dame's pitching in this one and their pitching the other day in the loss to Oklahoma. They've been talking a lot about having that strikeout pitch and ending ABs that are at 2 strikes. And They felt like they didn't do that against Oklahoma, that the Sooners just had a lot of two-strike hitting, and this is a tough Aggies offense like we've talked about to finish off.
Yeah, it's the toughest offense I've seen all year. And the very first time I saw them, first weekend of SEC play, and I thought, I left there thinking, well, maybe they just had a great weekend, right? You know, because every team has really good weekends from time to time. I said, well, maybe it was just a lucky weekend, if you will. They were just locked in that particular weekend because LSU's pitching wasn't, you know, was extremely strong all year long. But then it became weekend after weekend.
Targac strokes this one off the right field corner wall, and that is a long and sharp single from Targac.
Man, a 335-foot bullet of a single. You got to give Coatsy a bunch of credit for getting there quickly, but that one almost 103 miles an hour to the backside of the field. And I think this is what you get from the Aggies, right? Like he takes two really tough pitches, earns himself a full count, and stays on a ball. You know, I go back to the first inning where Werner, Moss, and Rock all punched out. Okay, but they punched out in the zone. You have to strike these guys out with plus stuff that's in the zone. Now, it's not that they never chase. You're talking about a team that has 6 two-strike hits, okay? And they almost never leave the strike zone. So it's to really get rid of these dudes, you got to have stuff like we saw from Simon, which is the ability to get by them, so to speak, with the heater in the zone.
Yeah, it's a team and a bunch of players that not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. And for me, when a hitter gets to the point where he's confident, even in 2-strike counts, those are the ones that are really dangerous. They are hard to get out. You know, a lot of guys, oh my gosh, it's 2 strikes. I don't want to do what? I don't want to strike out. It's just like they have a comfort factor in those 2-strike counts. 0-2, 1-2, 2-2. It doesn't matter. It's just a comfort, relaxed approach in a 2-strike count.
Berkey, as our offense connoisseur, have you seen a college baseball offense quite like this one through the years?
No, and what's interesting is, granted, we're at the end of it, but it's just 1 year. I mean, it's not like Schloss and Mike Early have been working on these guys for 2, 3, 4 years. Like, for instance, this Notre Dame offense, right? They've been with Link Jarrett for 3 years, and they're older. Yes, this A&M offense is certainly got a lot of at-bats under their belt, sometimes at different schools. But this approach, the way they've bought in, and then obviously it's one thing to give a guy an approach. It's another thing for that dude to actually be able to execute it and stick with it day in and day out. But as the season unfolded, they just have continued to get tougher and tougher to pitch to.
On the ground to Brannigan at third for 1. Miller's turn. It's 2. 5-4-3 on Troy Claunch here in the 7th. Yeah, a lot of credit to your point, Berkey, to assistant coach, hitting coach Mike Early, part of this new staff for A&M. What a job he's done. Jim Schlossnagle at the time says, I looked for the best young hitting coach in the country. This guy had spent 5 years at Arizona State, was there with Tracy Smith, played at Indiana, all Big Ten player, and then half dozen years in the White Sox organization, all the way up to AAA.
Yeah, and I think Mike is a fantastic hitting guy. You know, he's asking for his elevator speech on hitting. He said, take balls and swing at strikes. So that'll play. But on top of that, Schloss, you know, I think took a lot from what Bill Mosiello did with him at TCU. That's who ran his offense. Of course, Mosiello now the new head coach at the Ohio State University. So you're talking about an elite hitting coach with an offensive system that is based on making the ball go over the plate. Like, I know that sounds really simple, but to do that, you got to let a count unfold, and you can't be in such a hurry to hit the first decent pitch a guy gives you.
Yeah, I mean, look, Schloss hit a home run with his assistant coaches. I mean, Nolan Cain, one of the better recruiters around in his time at LSU. And you talk about Nate Yeske, arguably one of the best pitching coaches, you know, around, and Early as well, you know. And so it's like, when he got hired, like, he went to work right away and went and got some elite guys at the top of what they do.
Mike Dallas told us it's an all-star team of coaches. Brett Minnick, the batter, 2 outs, no one on. And he fouls off the 1-2.
Schloss told me an incredible stat. He said their BABIP, right, their batting average on balls put in play is the worst in the SEC on first pitch, the worst. But he said if they just see one pitch, whether it's 1-0 or 0-1, if they just see one, they're over 400. So even their batting average on balls put in play is higher at 0-1 than it is on the first pitch. So his message to his team has been like, let's just see one.
Here it is. I mean, when you can go to a kid and show them on paper the difference in that, right? It's kind of like a pitcher. You know, that 1-1 count's the most important. You go back and look at the batting average. When I throw a strike on 1-1, what the 1-2 batting average against is versus the 2-1 batting average. And when you know that as a pitcher, that's when you know you got to make ground on 1-1. That's how important it is to throw a strike and get a strike in those situations. Same thing with hitting. When you see multiple pitches, and he probably went through them, you know, third way through the year, halfway through the year, and say, look, guys, this is the difference.
Strike 3 called here. Will Mercer freezes Brett Minnick in the top of the 7th. What do the Irish have left in store? Down by 5. They have not been able to solve Nathan Dettmer. We're in game 1 of 2 today, and the nightcap will be a good one. SEC Showdown, Arkansas. It's had a lot of offense here in Omaha so far. They've been having some fun against Auburn, who fought off elimination against Stanford yesterday. That will be the matchup on ESPN2 tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central, with Ravi, Eduardo, KP, Chris Budd, and the entire crew. Who do you think stays alive? Wow.
Just put us on the spot.
Yeah,
Just go right ahead.
No layups.
Who are
here.
our starting pitchers?
Yeah, let me hop in there on that one, okay? Mason Barnett, I'm just assuming he's going for Auburn.
That's what I don't know.
How about in the NCAA tournament, okay? 9 2/3, 1 earned run, 15 strikeouts. Now, that's who Auburn has going in game 3. Now, I would assume Hagen Smith for Arkansas. We haven't heard officially. We kind of thought we'd get Hagen Smith last night. For whatever reason, Dave Van Horn went a different direction. So, you know, Hagen Smith's had a freshman All-American kind of season. He's had a number of moments that would make you think he's ready to go out there and give them a great start. But I tell you what, it's awfully impressive what Mason Barnett has done in his 2 starts here in the NCAA tournament.
You'd like to roll with the hot pitcher. So if that's the case then, and Barnett does go, I'm picking Auburn.
You got to make them the favorite on paper. Now, Blake Burkhalter, their All-American closer, did go 2 1/3. I would expect that he at least could give them an inning tonight. Carson Skipper didn't pitch yesterday, so you figure he's back in play for Auburn. You know, Auburn has options. That being said, it's an Arkansas offense that until last night was red hot, and we know they're as talented as anybody.
Right.
So even though Mason Barnett's been great, he hasn't had to face this Arkansas lineup.
Well, we'll get back to that in a moment. We're waiting on the mound here. Let's go down to Danny and see what's going on down on the field.
Yeah, guys, there's a couple of holes on the mound, and that was actually the same issue the other day. So they have to bring the grounds crew out to come out and fix this. So they sent both teams back to their dugouts until they can get it resolved.
Warm and sunny can be a problem for a dirt mound, right, Ben?
Yeah, and you hope there's enough clay there, you know, where you don't dig a big hole right up next to rubber. It looks like there's, you know, some of that clay has come up. And when you get that much activity, you know, day and again, pitchers pushing off that rubber, it creates a hole down there. And of course, there's more than just the rubber that you see on top. There's a lot to that pitching rubber that goes down. And if I'm Dettmer, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm like, the mound's been pretty good for me today. You know, don't change it now on me.
Well, and this does, again, we get paid to come up with stuff to talk about, right? But this does give you a little more opportunity to sit and think about how good you've been, as opposed to the rhythm of being right back out on the mound, right?
And I don't know if that's a good thing, right? I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think you'd want to just keep going with your rhythm
of going and going. You want to get right back out there again, because Dettmer's been really good, you know. And I personally, I thought he was out, you know, after the end of the last inning. I thought he was out of the ball game, but Schloss going to send him back out, and why not? I looked at stuff's not ticked down at all. I'm looking at the velocity. The velocity still holding the same, and the command, which I think is even more important, is still as good as it was in the first couple of innings.
What did you like on the mound in terms of the way it normally would be in
I didn't like a big hole.
Maintenance.
Yeah, I like the hard mound, just kind of clay where I could get enough of my right foot up against that rubber where I could push and explode. But I didn't want a deep hole down there because it almost felt like you were pitching uphill when you had a deep hole. So I wanted just a little bit of a hole. And then, of course, where you land is where you see the majority. Because if you get a guy that's kind of longer than you are or shorter than you are, sometimes you can kind of step not really in the hole that you want to be in. And so they're doing all kind of work. They're fixing the hole up front, and they're fixing the hole at the back. You know, and I don't know how long it's going to last. And, of course, they'll tamp it in with that tamp, put a little clay in there, wet it a little bit.
When you get an afternoon that is basically not a cloud in the sky and this sunny, and it's been like this now for, what, 5 days, you know, it can be hard on the all-dirt surface, no doubt about it.
And the first thing Dettmer go out and do is kick out the hole again to where he wants it, where it's comfortable for him. I mean, really, he's going to go out there and make it where he thinks it's comfortable for him. And so you see how much scratching he does. And
look, here he goes.
Here, look, see, he's going to dig him a little bit of a hole right there, just where he wants it. And you can see him. He's over towards, the first base side a little bit. He's going to check out the hole in the front to make sure it's similar to when he left. And he kicked it out right up against the rubber. So when he plants that right foot right there.
It's like I was never this guy. I mean, but I've played against a bunch of leadoff hitters that the box is perfect to start the game. And the first thing they do is they get in there and just
scratch it all
wear out the back line of a batter's box, right? And so that grounds crew came out there and just made that thing flawless. And now he's going to go out there, rough it up again. But again, it's more of the cumulative effect of all the pitches that have been thrown that I guess got it to a place where they didn't feel like it was up to standards.
I mean, it's late afternoon on the East Coast. If you're flipping around, you didn't know you were going to get Landscaping 101 here on ESPN. Or that setup.
That's different.
I'm in on that, dude. That is a really good look. And a little rhythm to boot. Okay.
Rally time for Notre Dame. They trail 5-0 in this game as we go to the bottom of the 7th after a prolonged 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, it just feels like they got to make some type of noise here eventually because time's starting to run out a little bit. I mean, you ain't got to get all 5 of them back. You'd love to, but just to scratch 1 or 2 at this point to get a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I mean, look, your 5 runs in 3 innings is certainly not out of the picture, and it is a day where the home run is available to you, right? So if you can get 1 or 2, what you want is a puncher's chance going to the 9th. Get it to within 2 or 3 headed to the 9th. But man, it feels like you said, Ben, they need a big inning right here, something.
5, 6, and 7 for Notre Dame, beginning with Jack Brannigan. Goes first pitch swinging and pops one up. Onto the right field grass, and Brett Minnick takes charge. 1 pitch. 1 out for Nathan Dettmer.
So that's a perfect example of what we just got done talking about with Texas A&M. Like, my question would be why, right? We got a guy, he's got to be towards the end of his rope. He's been dominating us. He just had to sit and think about it. Now, granted, the ball was right down the middle, but, like, what's the hurry? Why would we even give him the opportunity to throw 1 pitch and 1 out?
Totally agree. Totally agree. But Dettmer has been really good at that. It's collecting the first out of every inning. The first batter steps in the box. He has done that. He's not allowed Notre Dame to have any momentum. You had the 1 leadoff double, I think, in the 5th inning, and then he went in shutdown mode after that.
Well, Notre Dame will pinch hit here for Jack Ziska. Ziska, a right-hand hitter, one of their best bats all season. OPS better than 1,000, but he's punched out in 5 of his last 6 ABs, including twice today. So Nick Jouer, switch hitting 4th-year junior, who started his career at TCU, comes on.
Wow. Pretty loud statement, isn't it?
I think Jarrett said to us earlier today that they had to get Ziska going. They were unable to. Jouer couldn't do anything against Dettmer, and now there's 2 down, and Nathan Dettmer is trying to get through 7.
Now, this ball here had more what I would call horizontal run to it. So a lot of the sinkers have been going more vertical, more down. But watch this ball. I mean, it goes quickly. Oh, wait.
That's a good look right there. I mean, that sucker is
look at that.
diving. Jouer missed that by a foot.
Well, and you can see the way the ball comes across and the way the air hits it, So with your 2-seamer, he's getting his wrist cocked this way and letting it go. So the air is hitting up on top, and that's what allows that ball to go. If you throw it like that, it don't move, but you see where that ball was spinning. It was spinning like that going towards home plate. The air hitting up here and forcing that ball down.
So it leads to 2 down, bases empty for Jarrett Miller, who, unless Notre Dame can come back, is approaching the end of his college career. 5th-year senior, 2-time captain. He's playing with a strap on his left shoulder because he suffered a dislocated shoulder last month, and they were worried that it was going to be the end of his career. And the fact that they got to the Supers and then here to Omaha allowed him to come back, and that his career didn't end backing up a play at second base and fighting to save a ball from going into the outfield.
You know, this is an old team in Notre Dame going through the lineup for the 3rd time against Dettmer, and Dettmer's stuff to me is playing better now than it did in any part of the ball game. Like, he's really got all the pitches going.
2-2. And again, he's carried the velo, Ben.
Yeah, he's carried the velo. The changeup was pretty much non-existent the first couple innings. It really started to come about the 3rd inning. He's used the slider enough to put the thought in the mind that he might.
He's given up just 2 hits, a single in the 4th, a double from Miller in the 5th. And this is just the second 3-ball count for Dettmer. He gets a roller left side past Werner in the left. Miller with 2 of the 3 Irish hits and some life with 2 outs in the 7th.
Like that matchup with Miller versus Dettmer. He's done a nice job of hanging in there. Yeski's going to go have a chat here with his big right-hander.
Yeah, you liked the swing path from Miller against the sinker early on.
He's got 2 of the 3 hits. So that's look, you know, Notre Dame, they know that going into it, like they're just right-handed, right? So you just had to feel like Myers and Miller needed to get something done, and hoping maybe a righty or 2 would run into something, but Dettmer just hasn't given them many chances.
You can see he's telling Yeski, let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. You boys hop back in your spots, and I'll fix to collect this last out.
Joseph Menifee has been getting ready the last few innings, but has not been called upon. Just not much doing for Notre Dame against Nathan Dettmer, but Miller is on, and now to Zach Preisner, senior shortstop from California, who has grounded out twice to the 3rd baseman Trevor Werner.
I like that call because, you know, he's grounded out twice. They've been sinkers down and in, so he starts with a first pitch breaking ball this time.
Come on, Brad. I need 1-4.
Upstairs, 92.
Is he laughing because that was a 2-seamer that just went up? Or?
Yeah. That's exactly, because that one did not have the same action as all the others today. And that's what he's laughing about. He's like, that ball almost cut or stayed straight like a 4-seamer. Because you could see the catcher, Claunch, he had rocked to the inside part. He's expecting that sinker down and in. That ball just stayed straight, but it worked.
0-2. Just misses.
First pitch of the game was 94. The 98th pitch is 94. So you talk about a horse. He's a horse, Dettmer. Hot as it is out there, as many innings and pitches he's accumulated this year, the struggles he's been through his last 7 starts.
On the ground is short at Cole Kaler, who goes the short way for the force on Miller. And look at that from Nathan Dettmer. 7 shutout with the Aggie backs against the wall here in Omaha. Today's Capital One rewarding performance, it's got to be Nathan Dettmer and the job he's done in 7 innings.
There is no doubt about it. He had it going from the jump. It was a dominant performance where we saw the sinker, the changeup got going. We saw some really good breaking balls. And you talk about executing the over-the-top release of a changeup the way Nathan Dettmer did right there. It was all day. We saw the ball diving, 3 different pitches diving down. You talk about joy and emotion.
Yep.
And it was reciprocated to him when he got into the dugout. Jim Schlossnagle, maybe, is that a little smooch? Nah, maybe just a little whisper in the ear. Either way,
Why
a lot of
right?
affection.
Look, 6th time this year he's not walked a batter in a start. You know, he just outstanding. And I don't think anybody saw this coming because of the struggles he's had lately. I mean, it wasn't like it was just one bad start or 1 or 2 he was off his game. It was 6 or 7. But boy, I tell you what, big time effort, especially if you go back 3 days ago when he just didn't make it through the 2nd inning, gives up a 7 spot. You got to wonder where he was at mentally, but he just shows you how tough of a kid he is.
And how about the juxtaposition of this exact shot and conversation Friday when he came out in the 2nd inning, and right now his conversation with his pitching coach Nate Yeskie. It ends in a fist bump. Friday, Dettmer had his head in his hands, and Yeskie was over there talking to him. And we asked Nate Yeskie what was that conversation about, and he was trying to be positive and also get through to him about turning the corner like this, because we said this earlier. Nate Yeskie said to us, like somewhat exasperated, he was electric in the bullpen leading into that Friday start, but wasn't that guy.
He told us that was arguably his best bullpen that he threw of the year. You know, and that's why I didn't see it coming on Friday.
Well, let me say this. Here's why Nate Yeskie is a world-class pitching coach. Gets rocked out of the game in the 2nd. Deals, has an all-time great start. What's the similarities?
Carter Putz makes the catch to retire Jordan Thompson.
Both times he's coaching. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like, man, when this dude gets rocked, I'm just gonna turn my back to him and you know, leave him out to dry. It's hey, what went wrong? How do we do better? We still believe in you on the bad days, and on the good days, it's like, hey, let me go over here and reinforce why today was so good. It's not an accident. Nate Yeskie's here with teams in Omaha in different uniforms all the time, right? He's been there 3 different programs Nate Yeskie's taken as a leader of the pitching staff to Omaha. But I would say moving forward for Nathan Dettmer, there's your blueprint. And I know you can't be that great every time out. I get it. But, like, if you talk about style and the types of pitches you're trying to execute, man, that is who Nathan Dettmer should be every time out.
I mean, let's be honest. That's his best start of the year when you consider where he is here at the College World Series, elimination game. And then you couple in the fact the struggles as of late. He goes out and he does that against a really good Notre Dame team, and that's 7 innings, and didn't walk a batter, only allowed 3 hits.
Cole Kaler to right center. Brooks Coatsy 2 down. Well, let's put it in context too with Nathan Dettmer here. 7 innings, no runs, 3 or fewer hits at the Men's College World Series. Last SEC guy to do that, Alex Faedo in 17.
Yeah, I mean, not just the best start of his year. And I hope he wins 5 Cy Youngs. Well, that could be the best start he ever has. I mean, to the stage, right? You don't know how many times you get to that stage. And to get to this stage and to fight the demons of getting chased early and to go out there and shove it in the zone with A+ stuff when your team has to have it, I mean, he will remember that one for the rest of his life, as will his teammates.
Will Mercer delivers strike 1 to Trevor Werner. Batting with 2 outs, 8th inning. Texas A&M up 5-0 on Notre Dame. And how about being Nathan's mother? Mary Pat Dettmer, gotta love it. Imagine the pride in a parent's heart watching that.
Oh, man. You know, one of my favorite quotes in sports is John Wooden's, the goal of every athlete is to be at your best when your best is required. And Nathan Dettmer just had the performance of a lifetime when he needed it the most. That doesn't always happen that way, so I hope he enjoys it.
Well, Mercer strikes out Werner to end the top of the 8th. Nathan Dettmer, it has been your day. Notre Dame is down by 5. They've got 6 outs offensively left to play with. The NCAA College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Nathan Dettmer's been dominant. here in Omaha. Let's go over to Danny Wexelman.
Yeah, we had to come find his mother, Mary Pat Dettmer. Mary, you're out here watching the performance of your son. What's going through your mind watching him out here in this game? You said that you've been waiting for this.
Yes, the last few weeks have been a little rough, and he knew on Friday he didn't do his best, and he said, Coach, just give me another chance. I'm going to show up. And I feel like College World Series is the best place to show up.
And you actually went home, but he called you.
Yes, I went home yesterday morning, called me last night, and he said, Mom, I think I'm pitching tomorrow. And I said, okay, I'm coming back.
You had to be back for this, and you had to be back for the Pringles, right? Do you have a Pringles pin?
I have.
Tell us about the Pringles pin.
Okay, so the Pringles have been a thing for the boys. Just Schloss said, hey, you can't just eat one Pringle, and you can't just get one run, and you can't just get one win. And actually Pringles came out to one of our games, and they handed out stickers and pins and Pringles, and it's a thing. We love it.
When he exited the mound, he kind of lifted his arms up. He had the biggest smile on his face. What was your reaction?
Yes, just praising God, just thanking our Lord Jesus Christ for giving him the power and the courage and the strength to do what he needed to do today.
Did you get to talk to him before this start? And if so, what did you say to him?
Last night, I did talk to him, and I just told him, I said, we all believe in you, believe in yourself. You can do it, buddy, and I love you.
Mary, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
I got to know more about the travel. I mean, 14 hours driving time between Omaha and San Antonio. Did she make it all the way home?
I'm thinking she hopped on a bird, right? There's no way she hopped in a car.
She said it's a thing.
Pringles are definitely a thing.
Well, bottom of the 8th inning, and Brooks Coates skies this one to left, and Notre Dame is on the board. Solo shot from Brooks Coates off Brad Rudis, who just entered the ball game for Dettmer.
Wow. And it's amazing how many times a new arm on the mound after a guy has been dominant can energize a team. And you're talking about Brad Rudis has not given up a run in the NCAA tournament. He has been lights out for the Aggies, yet he is greeted awfully rudely by Mr. Coates.
The freshman right-hander now faces leadoff man Ryan Cole, who takes ball one. So does this invigorate Notre Dame offensively, getting a look at a new arm?
As Rudis' numbers on the year, 26th appearance, ERA just below 5, 36 punch-outs, 12 walks, and his pitch is that pitch right there, the changeup. He can land it just about in any count. Fastball is 88, it'll bump into the low 90s.
On the ground, foul. Coates' first home run, by the way, since May 26th. ACC tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina. One-two to Cole. He fouls it back. He's a fifth-year senior from San Ramon, California. Like the senior Coates, who just batted before him. Such a veteran team in a group that does not want the ride to end here. Cole was the one who had the fiery comments going into Super Regionals. Notre Dame at Tennessee. He got asked a question about facing Tennessee, and he said, if I were them, I'd be a little scared. I think we are a very dangerous team. And we talked to Ryan this week. He said, my intention was more so, I don't think they should treat it as a walk in the park.
Well, he was right, wasn't he? You know, but we've talked about this. It's an experienced team, but it's also a team that went into Stark Vegas last year, right, and saw what it was all about, and, you know, forced Mississippi State to a Game 3 in the Super Regional. And they got a taste of what big crowds, big environments were, and big-time teams. And so when they drew Tennessee, which nobody really wanted to draw Tennessee, as good as they were at the time, it just felt like they just weren't intimidated. Like they're going to go in there and play their game.
And now this is pulled down the line, but it hooks foul.
I would say by the first two hitters, A&M might think about starting to get somebody up. This is Ryan Cole has not looked uncomfortable. Granted, it's a 1-2 count. Of course, already the home run on the board.
He's fouled off 5 straight from Brad Rudis, who's 1-2. Hits Cole. Let's go back to the home run from Brooks Coetzee.
Well, we've been talking about Notre Dame having a very aggressive approach all game long, right? So how you going to greet a reliever? First pitch, fastball up and out over the plate, and that is one pretty move through the ball. And again, on a day where it's a good idea to hit it high and let it fly at Charles Schwab Stadium, a ball gets up in a jet stream and just kind of eases out to left field. Doesn't always look like that here.
I love how he stayed through the zone. That top hand kind of comes off. He get a little out in front of that changeup, it looked like, but not too out in front of it.
So Cole is on in front of Spencer Myers. Normally the 9-hole hitter. Got bumped up all the way to the 2 slot today. Can handle the bat and takes ball 1.
Starting to get a little bit more interesting now.
Joseph Menifee back up. One of their best relievers.
Well, I think what's interesting is they go to Rudis. He's obviously been great in the tournament. Notre Dame's so right-handed. They went with the right-handed Rudis, but what's interesting about Rudis, it's really more of a changeup than a breaking ball, right? So maybe not quite as tough on righties as a right-handed reliever with a plus breaking ball. And boy, the whole environment around this game has changed.
Ball.
3-0. Didn't miss by much. How quickly those last 2 expressions on fans' faces have flipped. 3-0. There's a strike from Brad Rudis.
Ball 4.
5-pitch walk. Home run, hit batter, walk. And is Joe Menifee ready?
That didn't take long. Slosh saw what we saw, which is the misses weren't huge, but in a game like this against a team like Notre Dame, if you don't have your best stuff, they can grind you out. And again, man, the script has flipped awfully quickly here.
So all of a sudden, the tying run will come to the on-deck circle with nobody out in the bottom of the 8th inning. And Joseph Menifee comes on for Texas A&M. Guy who can pile up strikeouts with the best of them. And the lefty will enter for 3, 4, and 5 in the Notre Dame lineup. It's rally banana time. It has worked for Notre Dame before. We welcome you back to the College World Series here in Omaha, Nebraska. And Notre Dame is threatening in the last of the 8th inning. Here's the bracket. We've got 6 teams left. This is an elimination game between Texas A&M and Notre Dame. The winner would get Oklahoma tomorrow and then would have to beat the Sooners twice to be the team that advances to the College World Series final. Chris Burke, Ben McDonald, Danny Wexelman, I'm Mike Monaco and our entire crew, and so Jim Schlossnagle does not wait around. He goes and gets Joseph Menifee.
Yeah, you had to. You know, Rudis clearly didn't have it. Menifee is in now. Had a pretty solid year. 6-2 on the mound. I love the strikeout numbers. How about that? 85 strikeouts in 51 innings of work. 41 strikeout or walks rather. That's a little bit of a concern. Pretty much heavy on the fastball and slider. Fastball will go about 55% of the time. Slider 43% of the time, but the slider is his best out pitch. 53 of those strikeouts have come on that slider, and opponents only hit 178 off of it.
He takes over for Brad Rudis, who took over for Nathan Dettmer. And it was Menifee who followed Dettmer Friday in the 2nd inning in the game you had, Ben. And Menifee went 2 1/3, but gave up that grand slam, part of 5 runs total, 4 of them earned on 4 hits and 3 walks. He starts with strike one to Carter Putz, who's 0 for 3 with 3 groundouts.
And if he does have 7 home runs allowed on the season, so again, on a day where the ball is carrying very well, that makes the tension that much thicker.
Putz, the senior first baseman, one of the captains. He's had a great season for Notre Dame. 1-1.
Yeah, typically this would be Jacob Polish's time, right? This would be the time of the game he was in, but he threw 49 pitches just 2 days ago. So you wonder, can you use him? How much can you use him today? Is he available? I would think he is, but
maybe just for the 9th, right?
Menifee's 1-1. Check swing did not go, and it's 2-1. Activity out in the pen. You see on the right there, Chris Cortez, the hard-throwing freshman, and then Wyatt Tucker on the left, who was good the other day as Jacob Polish sits. 2-1 pitch. Putz checks his swing again. It's 3-1.
That's a good take right there. That ball started in the zone, too. So what's the difference, right? I mean, Dettmer stayed ahead all day long. He threw strike one. He put Notre Dame on the defense right away. Rudis Menifee not been able to do it yet. Get ahead, strike one.
Dettmer threw a first pitch strike to 21 of the 26 batters he faced. His highest percentage this season. Menifee's 3-1 to Putz. Fouled off, full count. One thing Link Jarrett, the Notre Dame head coach, said to us this morning about Carter Putz, he's so good pitch to pitch, adjusting, even mid-pitch to pitch. Two on, nobody out. Payoff pitch. Fouled back by Putz.
Little slider.
Another 3-2. Struck him out. One away.
Boy, was that giant. Huh? Get down 3 balls, 1 strike, runners on first and second, nobody out, and already 1 run home. And a 3-2 breaking ball.
Pretty good pitch to hit, right? Just came
Stayed up
empty, yeah.
Yep, there's that dot. There's one on the front, one on the back.
Swung right underneath it, it looked like.
So 1 away, 2 still on, and here's Dave LaManna. 1 for 3 with a single up the middle in the 4th. He's got one of the biggest hits of Notre Dame's postseason a couple of weekends ago against Tennessee, and he went deep already here Sunday in the 6th inning against Oklahoma. A 2-run shot to left. One 1-0 pitch. Ball 2. This was against Tennessee.
Fastball away on an 0-1 count, and that was a backside bullet. And you talk about the air going out of the building. It went from 3-1 to 3-3, and the unthinkable felt like very possible after that swing of the bat.
Menifee's 2-0. On the ground at third. Werner to the bag for 1. That's 2. Menifee fired up. Gets A&M off the field in the 8th.
Wow. It's speaking of the air going out of the balloon, my goodness, the Irish look like they're poised to make this one a barn burner. And the Aggie defense steps up when they need them the most. A bullet from Werner. And you better believe the Aggies are all fired up.
Welcome back to the NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. 2 elimination games today in Omaha. Texas A&M leads this one. The nightcap still to come over on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock Eastern. Arkansas rolls in. They have been hot here down the stretch. And Sonny DeShera and the Auburn Tigers.
That's the first guy you want to get off the bus, right?
That's right.
The SEC Co-Player of the Year. What a season he's had.
And it'll be Will McIntyre for the Razorbacks tonight, the right-hander going for Dave Van Horn's crew. So a couple of talented right-handers on the bump for each team. Sonny D looking to get on track. It has not been a laser show for him today. The 2 best hitters coming into Omaha, him and Ivan Melendez. Neither one of them have had an extra base hit. Of course, Melendez is home. And Sonny D just the 1 single.
And Notre Dame just the 1 run. In the bottom of the 8th inning on the Brooks Coetzee solo shot when it looked like it could have been more. But the 5-3 double play induced by Joseph Menifee sends Texas A&M to the 9th ahead by 4. Trying to fight on and face Oklahoma tomorrow.
You know, and you got to give Trevor Werner a lot of credit, right? You kick one on the first play of the game with a sinker baller on the mound, and it can get pretty lonely over there, but he has been flawless since.
Yeah, and a home run and a single never hurts either to get the confidence going,
right.
too. That'll kind of make you forget about the first play of the game. But I tell you, Rayo and Mercer have been good for Notre Dame. They've given them a chance. They've stacked some zeros. I mean, they're up to what? 4 innings now of shutout ball for Notre Dame out of that bullpen.
Yeah, Mercer with 2 2/3, just 1 hit, make it 3 innings now as Jack Moss grounds out to Jarrett Miller. Well, some context here for this large of a lead. No team at the College World Series has overcome a 5-run deficit since the move to Charles Schwab Field in 2011. The last team to do it was the year before that, and look who was coaching the team that did it, TCU.
Yeah, 5 runs in TD Ameritrade. I mean, in Rosenblatt was about a 2-run lead here, maybe, maybe not even.
That's the exchange rate.
Yeah, you could flip that one pretty quickly.
Yeah, and a 5-run, 4-run lead here about 6 or 7 years ago. It was over.
But if the last inning taught us anything is, you know, if you're A&M, you wouldn't mind putting a couple more on the board, right? Because it got uncomfortable quickly.
Dylan Rock, the batter. He's been aboard 3 times. Takes low, a little further context. Last team to overcome 5-run deficit in the College World Series in the 8th inning or later, 1973. USC against Minnesota. Dave Winfield, the Hall of Famer, was the starting pitcher in that game for the Golden Gophers. He went 8 1/3, and then the bullpen blew the lead.
He went 8 1/3. Didn't he get drafted in all 3 sports, Dave Winfield?
I think so. Football, basketball, baseball.
I shouldn't say there's only 3, but in 3 sports. I wonder why hockey didn't like him. I'm sure he'd have been good.
Yeah.
Pitched. Could hit a little bit.
Oh, he could hit.
Just a little bit.
Hey, shout out to our great research team, ESPN Stats and Info, in particular, Jeremy Mills and Lee Singer, helping us out over the course of these 2 weeks or so in Omaha.
They are all over it, aren't they?
On the ground to short, and Zach Preisner throws out Dylan Rock. And also our statistician up here in the booth, Mark Amento. We've got all sorts of help, and they deliver the goods always.
Yes, they do.
Two outs, top 9. Moss and Rock retired by Mercer. And now Austin Bose, the cleanup man, who's had himself a day. A double, a walk, a single. He's had a good trip to Omaha so far. Strike one. Notre Dame, by the way, they'll have 5, 6, and 7 in the last of the ninth. Starting with that guy, Jack Brannigan. Jared Miller will hit right behind him. Zach Preisner as well later on that inning. Mercer is set down 7 in a row, falls behind 2-1 on Bose.
Yeah, man, you can't ask any more out of Mercer than he's given them. 7 in a row against this offense is a pretty tall task with the way they're playing right now.
Two and two. Mercer, the senior from Houston, who missed his entire freshman season back in 2019 due to injury. A starter in 2020 before the shutdown. Last year pitched in a lot of big spots for Notre Dame. Made 11 starts in relief as well, almost 60 innings. And then this year, as Ben told you earlier, battled some injury. They were trying to figure out what was going on. Up kind of near his collarbone on his pitching side. He wasn't bouncing back quickly from outings, but he's gotten healthier recently, and he's given Notre Dame a chance. The deficit still 4. A&M trying to stay alive and eliminate Notre Dame, who has their last licks against Joseph Menifee. The Chuck in Omaha, Nebraska, an elimination game here on this Tuesday afternoon between Texas A&M, who leads Notre Dame 5-1 to the bottom of the ninth inning. It's been some ride for Notre Dame these last 3 seasons with Link Jarrett at the helm, and he has taken them to a couple of super regionals. This year they broke through to Omaha for the first time in 20 years. They have slayed giants along the way, and they are down to their last 3 outs.
Yeah, they got one more mountain to climb, don't they, here to try to stay alive. What's interesting is no team that has beat the #1 team has eventually won it, right? Michigan beat UCLA in 2018 and or 2019, excuse me, and made it all the way to Game 3 of the finals. And NC State kind of looked poised to potentially do it last year before COVID knocked them out. But you know, you always feel like a team that is capable of beating the #1 seed is capable of doing just about anything. We'll see if the Irish have one more punch in them.
Starting with Jack Brannigan against Joseph Menifee.
Ball.
Brannigan very likely to be drafted. Who knows? He could be a pitcher. He could be a position player. We've talked about his talent, his speed, and he's trying to start something here.
Ball.
2-0.
No real reason to swing here until Menifee throws strike 1, right? You got a guy on the mound who's, you know, prone to throw a few loose ones. And you see Brannigan being very patient here.
2-0 pitch. Tails outside. Brannigan 0 for 3, flew to right his last time. Takes on 3-0. It's been such a fun ride talking to these Notre Dame players, the way they've shared it with us. John Michael Bertrand said after the Tennessee win, he had 150 texts on his phone. Fouled off at a full count. He was hearing from donors and alums and vice presidents of companies he hadn't even heard of sending him emails. They were that excited about the ride this team's been on. Menifee's 3-2. Upstairs, and Brannigan is on to begin the bottom of the ninth with the Fighting Irish down by 4. So remember, this is Jack Ziska's spot in the Notre Dame lineup, where Nick Jouer came on as a pinch hitter last inning from the left side. The switch hitter now righty against the lefty Menifee. Ziska had punched out twice. Jouer punched out, and now bats here in the ninth. He was on the TCU roster, coached by Jim Schlossnagle in 2019, but didn't play. Fouls it back, 0-2. Small sample size for Nick Jouer this season, but an OPS around 900. Menifee's 0-2, blocked by Troy Claunch.
Oh, that was nice, huh? He's pretty good back there. Love the forward lean. That's what you need, right? Kill it off your chest, right in front.
Bound by Hope in the third base dugout. 1-2. Blocked again. This guy has put on a show the last few weeks.
Dettmer didn't make it too tough on him today. Right? He didn't have a ton to do.
Couple of change-ups here and there, but other than that, Dettmer was really good.
Menifee gives him back-to-back opportunities there to show off what he can do behind the plate. He is one of the best catch-and-throw college catchers in America, no doubt about it.
Oh, they've got him picked off. Kaler runs at Brannigan. Menifee dives and got him. One away. Wow.
Can't happen. Just cannot happen. Big time move here. Pick it up, look home, got
He's just getting his secondary.
Got you.
He's not even stealing the base. He's just getting his secondary.
What a move that was, too. Picked it up, look home. Of course, the best athlete on the field finishes the play.
Not exactly what you want your pitcher doing when he's trying to close out a game.
There he is. Follow your throw, right? If you're the pitcher, you pick a guy off, you follow your throw. There Menifee is and chases him down for that first out.
Is he bleeding?
A little blood. I'm telling you, it's
Might have got did he get a spike?
It's dry out there.
And more Notre Dame miscues. That has been a persistent theme today, and it also was costly the other day against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame's given up 2 unearned runs today. And look, there's only 2 errors on the scoreboard, but there's been some other mental mistakes and some other physical mistakes as well.
You said it was just a secondary too.
Wow. I mean, he's just picking up the mitt, right? He's just waiting to react on the ball entering the zone, and Menifee had other plans.
Jouer strikes out. 2 gone in the last of the ninth.
How about Joseph Menifee, folks? Comes in the 8th inning, tough situation, gets a punch out and a ground ball double play. Walks the first batter, but picks him off. And then a punch out. Notre Dame is down to their final out.
First pitch is strike 1 to the 5th-year senior Jarrett Miller. We've seen it all in his time in South Bend. Coaching change a few years ago. Now here in Omaha, and he asked for time. There's going to be a lot of turnover as far as the players go for the Irish next season, if this is the end. 0-1. 1-1 on Jarrett Miller. Menifee deals. Yanked past Werner. Down the left field line off the wall. Miller goes to second. And he's got a 2-out double. Boy, the pickoff really hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you probably play it safe there, and it's second and third, you know, but the pressure with a couple guys on and one less out would certainly have this inning feeling totally different.
You talk to opposing coaches, they talk about how well-rounded Notre Dame is. David Pierce said to us the other day, the Texas head coach, they just don't beat themselves. So it's been out of character over the last couple of days. Zach Preisner pops up the first one he sees, and that reaches the fourth row.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the 3-run third inning, right? How different would this ball game feel had they played a little cleaner brand of baseball in the third? And their pitching has done a fantastic job of holding this offense down, but just tough to come back from an inning like that.
Fouled back, 0-2. And Link Jarrett in year 3 got this team to Omaha. Dave LaMotta said last weekend, I remember our first practice, we all looked at each other after and we said, it's the most work we've ever gotten done in that amount of time. And he has made an imprint in 3 seasons on Notre Dame baseball. Menifee's 0-2. Just misses. Wow.
I'm gonna tell you, Scott Klein's strike zone was a little bit bigger than that when the game began, but it just feels like the last couple of innings, because that's been a strike a lot. The first 5 or 6 innings of the ball game, that was a strike almost every time.
One-two pitch. Preisner in the air. Onto the outfield grass, and Ryan Targach ends it. Texas A&M stays alive in Omaha.
Yeah, you know, typical Texas A&M offense, right? It's a complete effort. 8 of the 9 in that lineup get a base hit. You get an outstanding performance on the mound from Nathan Dettmer. He goes 7, didn't get up a run, punches out 6. You know, for Notre Dame, 0 for 7, runners in scoring position. That hurt them a little bit, and some mental and physical mistakes cost them as well.
Yeah, this time of year, you just don't have a lot of margin, right? Notre Dame did not play their best brand of ball, but the Aggies take advantage. They live to fight another day, but today was all about Nathan Dettmer. Congratulations. What a performance.